That being said, there you go again. That being said,
Stop. Hammer time.
We are tonight's entertainment.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Excellent!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Movie Mania podcast, where we talk films past, present, and future. I am Simon J. White of Podcast Media, and joining me is the man, the myth, the legend. When this podcast is over, you have my permission to die. Bandit Incorporated. Do.
What? That is a lovely, lovely voice. Perhaps he's wondering why someone would cover his mouth when he's about to record a podcast.
just kills a little.
That good old Bane voice. That's the ultimate of Tom Hardy's weirdo voices.
Oh man, how have you been, Ben? It's good to see you.
I have been good. How have you been?
Well, we'll see. I'm, just a little underwhelmed with some of the things I've been sat down to watch this weekend. Dark Knight Rises not being one of them. I'm actually still quite impressed with that movie. It still
Really?
surprises. Yeah, I think a lot of things they do is still snap, but we'll get to that.
Because when I rewatched it, I was like, it really hasn't held up well.
No, it has not
We'll
aged very well in terms of the problems, but
Yeah,
we'll get to that one too. It is it's like it really is the Return of the Jedi.
It is. It really is.
Of the Nolan Batman, which sucks because what it does. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. It does kind of follow the original Star Wars trilogy pattern, where it's good, really awesome, and then you're like,
Yeah. Except I think it's reversed in how we like. Because I think in the same way I feel about Jedi, you feel about this movie. In the same way you felt about Jedi, I feel about... I'm like, yeah, Rises, it's still good. I mean, despite some of its problems, I still really enjoy it. In the same way that you kind of are about Jedi from our last discussion about it a couple months ago. Unless you don't like Jedi anymore. And join my side, the dark side.
I still like Jedi.
Well, exactly. And I still like Rises. So this is going to be a fun talk. Okay, so... Tell you what, Bandit, we have a special announcement to make, don't we?
We do. Do you want to say it, or you want me to say it?
Yeah, I'll say it.
As
you're
you guys
know,
it's your job. If you think I'm putting that much effort into being here.
All right. So as you guys know, 6 or 7 weeks ago, we had on Trilby from Film Brits. Great, one of our favorite episodes, or at least one of my favorite episodes. You guys really responded to it very well. And then we went on Film Brits, in which he announced that Sam of Sam's channel was unfortunately leaving the podcast Film Brits. So Trilby was going to be without a co-host for a while. So we decided to, be good people, and we asked, if he maybe wanted to come and join our podcast, and it would, just to help him out. It would help us out more, and it was just a really great relationship to be a part of. And
yeah, I sent him a message on Skype, and I was typing out this message, and I thought it really seems like I'm asking him out.
Yeah,
because I'm typing this message, I'm like, we get along well. We obviously have good chemistry. I just think we should be
all our
together.
Friends like us together. Yeah, all our friends like us together. Yeah.
So I finished the message with like, Trilby, will you marry us? And then we didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, okay. But he eventually said yes. So he's going to be joining us, not this podcast, but next time. So it'll be great to have third person on the podcast. It's going to really help to mix things up. It'll sort of ease the pressure on Trey and myself. If one of us isn't able to make it, the show can go on, because we've had issues with that before.
Absolutely. There's a reason that the podcast comes out on Tuesday sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think this is the first time we're recording on Sunday in a while. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but Trilby. So he still is going to keep Film Brits, like the Film Brits podcast on his side, but he's going to like rework it and do it. Sort of change up the format and rework it a bit. So for those who are like fans of his Film Brits podcast, it will still be there, but you'll find him here as well. So I don't know whether he's going to focus more on TV on that and movies here, or mix it up with different things. I don't know, but look forward to finding out.
Absolutely, whatever he wants to do with Film Brits, he can do with Film Brits. That being said, this is my show, and he's on my show now. You're on mine now. America wins once again.
We need to prepare some kind of initiation ritual. Get the wooden paddles.
Godzilla or Terminator Genesis, you better pick. Or I guess we should say Godzilla or Dark Knight Rises. I don't know. We'll figure
Yes, he has to pick the movies. This is the instrument of your liberation.
Of your liberation. Of the corrupt. Yeah. All right, Ben. Let's get into the movie news.
Who likes this movie? Only me. Only you. Yeah.
It would be extremely likable for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. Cannonball!
So, movie news. For starters, little sprinkles of. Yes, you
for
can.
anyone who's we're trying to mention at the start of each podcast that we have the time codes down below, just because there's new listeners join us every episode. They might not know that. So if you get bored of our ramblings about stuff you're not interested, time codes, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're on iTunes, you can always find them in the description. So sorry, go ahead.
Or click away because you already have the download/view count. Anyways, that's me. I won't say that. Like, I know Screen Junkies is always just like, don't leave, guys. I'm like, if they don't like us, you can leave if you want. I mean, you already gave us the view, so goodbye. No, I'm kidding. We love you guys. Oh, the comments are coming out. They're humming at maximum. Okay, movie news. Blade Runner, a movie I saw for the first time in its entirety, not maybe 5 months ago. Not 5 months ago. That's back in October. It's getting a sequel, as we know. Denis Villeneuve, who did movie Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman, and recently he did Sicario. Both movies that I thought were okay, but were all very well praised. He's doing the Blade Runner sequel. Harrison Ford's back, begrudgingly, I guess, because like in a press conference, they asked him about sequels, and he said, "No, I don't want to do any sequels." And then it's like, well, I guess Blade Runner would be cool. And I guess because he's already signed for Blade Runner, so he can't badmouth it anymore. But it got a release date of January 12th, 2018.
Oh, okay. So
I'm
they're
not
probably going to start filming pretty soon.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, but Bandit, like for the last, at least for the last 15 years or so, January has been where you put the crap in cinema.
Yeah.
Like, that's where all the bad movies go to die. Like, movies usually will get pushed back to January, you know, like whether it be G.I. Joe, I think got put back to March, but same thing. Like, movies will be like, Jupiter Ascending will be like in the summer and then pushed like to January, February to die. And that being said, there are still some great movies that are good to great movies that come out in February, like your Deadpools, Kingsman, Lego Movie, but they're few and far between. It's usually...
Do you think they're preparing for he's going to Prometheus it, so put it in January? Do you reckon they're preparing for that, or
that might be a possibility? That's honestly a great point. Maybe Fox is like a scapegoat. It's like, or maybe not a contingency plan. It's like, you know, if just in case that this movie sucks, we'll put it in January. But hey, if it's great, we put a good movie in January. How about that?
That's right.
But most people are thinking though that they're simply doing this to kind of give the audience something new, because I think Star Wars Episode 8 comes out December of 2017. And so Blade Runner 2 will be coming out 4 or 5 weeks after that. So I guess they're trying to pull a Kung Fu Panda 3 where they're trying to like take in, you know, right when the Star Wars craze is kind of dying down, like the major hype is over, the backlash will start again, and they'll call it a remake of Empire, and then it will just, which may not be a bad thing, and then which it will they'll rake in all the profits. I still think a movie might be crap now. This really concerns me. I have no idea why Fox put it in January. This really concerns me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even story-wise, like, how do you continue the Blade Runner story? I mean, it was pretty much done, right?
All right, so I'll tell you what.
What else are you going to do with it?
It's this new young detective, right? And he's working, trying to take down these robots. And on the way, he finds this really old detective guy who may or may not be a replicant, who himself may or may not be a replicant. And in the end, it all ends with him finding another replicant on a rooftop, but instead of raining, it's snowing. In which case, he will talk about tears and ice. There we go.
Sounds very original.
Brand new original movie. There.
Sounds like they're basically remaking Blade Runner. That's
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Well,
we'll have
hey,
a male
works
cat.
for
We'll
other
have a male.
movies.
We'll have a male character who's progressive and really is able to create new styles in a way of presenting female characters, or male characters, but those would be too powerful anyway. So who cares? So that's okay. Mary Sue, don't worry about it.
We wait to see how it turns out, or whether Harrison Ford will even be alive by the time the movie comes out.
He is only like 73. To be fair, he'll probably fly a plane. Like the moment that I'm pretty sure that's why they. I think I've said this before on the podcast, but he crashed his plane back in January. I think that was around the time the Han Solo movie got rumored, and I felt like Disney called him and said, "Harrison, we got you for a Han Solo movie." He's like, "The hell you do?" And he cried crashing his plane. That's a joke I have with my friends. But that's beyond the point. Next story.
Yep.
Okay, so, I was just asking. I was like, there was a pause. Okay, Batman v Superman. We won't crap on it this time, I promise, because the people were really upset about that in the comments last time. Could you not give your opinion on the marketing for this movie? Sorry, guys, it's a podcast. Get over it. The movies. The
same thing happened with Mr. Sunday Movies. He put a video. He turned like a little clip out of their discussion, and the title, he's like, "This is just a rumor. Relax." In like capital letters.
People really like. They're like, "You haven't even seen the movie." I'm like, "No, we haven't. We are not commenting on it. We've said this since the beginning. The movie might be great. It might be crap. But what we are seeing is what we're talking about." Jesus. All right.
Yeah. This is the news segment. We have to talk about stuff that's news, and
exactly,
rumors are kind of news.
Exactly. Well, I mean, especially if it gets good traction and it's been broken by sources that I can trust. Like Collider's a source I trust.
But
Batman v
Superman, not true though, because I do want the movie to succeed. I don't want them to go back and try to redo the universe again. So I'm hoping it's not.
I mean, they just released a picture of Zack Snyder with Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and like in that picture, he just looks so tired. he looks like Joss Whedon after Avengers 2. Like he just looks so broken. He looks like a lot skinnier than he did back when he was doing Watchmen. But I'm like, it's okay, man. This movie's good. It's worth it. But they just released the runtime of the movie, and it's apparently going to be 2 hours and 31 minutes.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, which is around the time I was
movies being 2 hours 45 minutes, but 2.5 is pretty reasonable, so that's good.
God, all right, listen, all right, we'll get to it, but yeah, it was a little long. I'll give you that.
You're talking about Dark Knight Rises, yeah. So
I was talking about Interstellar. I was talking about Interstellar, and The Hateful Eight, but but not Wolf of Wall Street, which was 3 hours flat. So,
and I went back and watched 2.5 hours. That's pretty reasonable. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Dark Knight was like 225. Avengers was like 220. I mean, most of these movies these days, with the exception like your Star Warses, will usually go for between 2 and 2.5 hours. So this doesn't surprise me. Plus, they have a lot to put in there. But I have faith that Warner Bros. Is not going to mess this up. There, see? Happy? Even though Doomsday does look terrible. But he's going to get spikes later. Well, we haven't seen the spikes now, have we? But if you show the spikes, then they're going to say you show too much. Exactly. Just don't show them at all then.
Plus, he's probably going to show up like in the last 5 minutes and then get killed. So
yeah, well, exactly. Like he's going to be a weird villain that shows up for no reason. I mean, I hope we're wrong, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Lex is manipulating Batman to take out Superman, and then when he doesn't, he's like, "Well, I'll get Doomsday to do it. If man can't kill God, then the devil will do it."
Yeah, which is a good line, but
yeah,
I don't. I don't buy.
Luthor-ish.
But I don't buy Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor still. But that's beyond the point. I'm sure. I hear he's one of the best things in the movie, so I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. The Wolverine 3. Hugh Jackman's final appearance, I guess, in terms of being the main character of Wolverine and the main character of a movie. There's rumors he might still show up in like a Deadpool movie or have some cameos in X-Men films, but I think it's time to retire this character. Because now is our time to have Scott Summers really shine, because he is really the leader of the X-Men, and it's about time that he got what he deserves. Especially like they just released a poster, like a standee poster for X-Men Apocalypse, and Scott Summers is not on that poster, I don't think, which really worries me. I'm like, what does Bryan Singer have against Cyclops? Yeah. Like, why is it that Havoc gets more screen time?
Yeah, his moody older brother, gets all the screen time, and then he Well, actually, he didn't kill him in X-Men 3. That was the other guy, wasn't it? But,
Well,
but he
Reiner showed up
sidelined
20
him in the
days before
first
they
two
started-
movies. Yeah.
Brett Ratner showed up 20 days before they started shooting. I don't put it on Brett Ratner. I think he did the best thing he could. He's not a very good director, no, but the action was cool.
But yeah, I want to see a decent Cyclops too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's supposed to be like the Captain America of the team.
Exactly. But instead they focus on it's like if they tried making a movie where Avengers movie where Hulk is the leader because he's dark and brooding. That's not what you need right now. You need the lightness. But yeah, the Wolverine 3. They had a toy fair recently where Fox released some of their toys for the future movies. One of which said Wolverine, and it said expected rating R.
Yes.
So looks like you were right, Bandit. Looks like I was wrong. Oh, that hurts. Looks like I was wrong.
Hey, sorry, say that last part again. I didn't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Skype cut out. I said I was. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't. Skype was. It looks like sorry, man. It keeps cutting out. Sorry. No, but it's
that's
to
great.
be.
Yeah, because we talked about that last week. Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Because
I never said I didn't want it to be rated R. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, just that. Well, I mean, I think technically what we said was something along the lines of they might do what they did with The Wolverine, which is like they have a clean cut in movies, and then the DVD one is like all the gore. But now they're going full R rating, so great.
I don't want this to become a pattern. Like, I don't want the next Pixar movies to be rated R because, well, if the Deadpool made money, then let's make Toy Story 4 rated R. Like, I don't need that to be. And that's an extreme. That's hyperbole, of course. I'm not an idiot. Ish, but what I don't need every single comic book movie that's dark to be rated R, because if there's anything that a movie like The Dark Knight showed me, or even what was that other? Never mind, I forgot. Or even Captain America: Winter Soldier showed is that you can go dark and not have to go like violent and R-rated. Do it to what suits the character. Like R-rated Batman would be cool, but you don't need to do R-rated Batman. Like Wolverine needs to be R-rated essentially. Like, could you imagine if you had that fight in X-Men 2 in the mansion when he's hiding like all the cops and stuff? If you did that with an R-rated Wolverine, like that would be insane. You know, it's yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I mean, because he's got this whole thing is the claws, and like previously, even like he'll like stab his blades through someone's hands, and it comes out the other side, but there's never any blood on them. It's like yeah, with those weapons, you kind of need to have blood showing.
I think you can really push the PG-13 rating to like I know like even if they're gonna go R now, I feel like they could have kept a PG-13 like especially after watching Dark Knight Rises, where they shoot a lot of people and. And you see like red mist fly, out of their bodies. It's like, you could push it farther than just having clean cut, shiny metal after going through someone's hand. But that's just a thought. Okay. I guess a bunch of quick stories. Okay. As we know, there are Transformers 5, 6, and 7, I think, coming out. There's a slew of more Transformers movies coming out. Transformers 5 is to be directed by Michael Bay. However, Transformers 6 is supposedly going to be a Bumblebee spinoff.
Really?
Who cares?
Huh.
Are
they going to have him talk, or are they going to have him still do the weird radio voice thing?
I don't know.
He'd have to talk for a whole movie, wouldn't he?
Well, they did the Minions, didn't they?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And they don't speak. And that made $1 billion. Oh, Christ, here we go. And he's yellow. Wonderful. They're going to turn Bumblebee into a minion.
Yeah, you know what I like about Bumblebee in the Transformers movies? Is like, he's speaking with the radio voice in the first movie because they say his voice was damaged in a fight. And then he gets his voice fixed at the end of the movie and is like, I wish to stay with the boy.
And I liked his
Totally
voice.
Forgotten about. Totally forgotten about. Next movie, he's back to radio voice. No one ever mentions again.
It's like, your voice is still broken. I'm like, no, it's not. You fixed it at the end of the last one.
It's like the TARDIS chameleon circuit. It's just forever broken.
I don't understand that reference. Anyways.
Like in Doctor Who, the TARDIS, it looks like the police box. It's supposed to have a chameleon circuit so that when you switch it on, it can camouflage into its environment. But the chameleon circuit is broken, so if they go to like prehistoric Earth, there's still this weird box there. So... okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
Well, I mean, that's a great way to keep your Nerd. No, I'm kidding. That's a great way to keep your prop, I
Good thing
guess.
Trilby's
There you
not
go.
here. He'd tell you all about
Oh,
it. He's
like he pulls
I
out
don't
his
even
Doctor
watch
Who.
Doctor Who, and I know that somehow.
He pulls out his like Doctor Who like Wikipedia like encyclopedia. He's like, well, if you look here, and then he just turns like to page 456. Yeah, no, but I'm excited
Actually,
to have him on.
you know what? I was thinking, because we're going to have you, Trey, and Trilby. You know how I get confused with names that start with the same letter?
Uh-huh.
Just saying, if you want to decide to pick a different name for yourself, feel free.
Are you saying
throwing
this
it out
at your own expense? Because my real name is Sherman. If you want to start calling me
You can
Sherman
start
again.
calling you Sherman, or you can make up a different name.
Really,
Like
I don't want to
Anakin,
think.
or I don't know, whatever you want. Kylo.
Schrader.
Starts with a T, doesn't work. Yeah.
No. No, look, like you can call me whatever you want to call me, as long as I'm not offended by it.
All
Just
right,
call me
I'll
Sherman.
start
Just
calling
call
you
me-
Sherman now.
Yeah, I mean that's what you originally called me before you started calling me Trey again. So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So it'd
up
be
to you.
Sherman, Trilby, and Bandit. So there we go.
yeah, like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. Yeah, okay.
So what are we talking
care-
about? Transformers.
Do you care
yeah.
about the? Yeah, do you care about the bumblebees? I really don't give a rat's tail.
No, I don't care, but it's obviously for the kids, isn't it? So whatever.
So, kid movies can be great too. I hate. I'm sorry. I don't mean
Not
to yell
all
at
of
you.
them.
But I hate that excuse of like, well, it's a kids movie. I'm like, that doesn't excuse it for being terrible because like people are like, I hated Home, and people are like, well, Home is a kid movie. I'm like, so was Inside Out, so was a lot of the early Pixar films. So were How to Train Your Dragons, so were some of the Shrek movies. Wallace and Gromit. Like those are all wonderful movies made for children. The Avengers movies are aimed at children. But you don't see us being like, well, it's okay if they can suck because they're made for little kids. I'm like, well, little kids deserve better than that.
Yeah.
I've said this countless
and
times.
even if it
before.
is made for little kids, who do you think is taking the kids to the cinema and has to sit there and watch it with them? Their parents.
Well,
kind of at least make
I
it good
stopped
for
off.
them as well.
I was dropped off with my ticket in his hand. I walked in there. It's like, all right, boy, go watch a movie. I'm like, yay! I'm like, yay! Shrek 4. God, that's a terrible movie. Okay, yeah, but Bumblebee Standalone probably going to be terrible. I really don't care. That's all the news we have.
This week, each one of you has a homework assignment. You're gonna go out, you're gonna start a fight with a total stranger. You're gonna start a fight, and you're gonna lose.
All right, so The Walking Dead has come back, Bandit.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's in all its
Yeah.
mediocre, middling glory, The Walking Dead has returned to television.
Well, I think the Honest trailer put it well, but they said,
Yes,
get ready
that-
for a season where there's 4 really awesome episodes, 2 kind of okay ones, and another 2 where they're just walking around.
Oh my God!
I think we've got 2 good ones so far, so that means we only have another 2 good ones for the rest of the season.
I think we've gotten half, like out of the 2 episodes, like out of the 2 hours that we have, I think we've gotten half an hour of good Walking Dead.
Really?
Because it really is just a bunch, and spoilers,
You
I guess.
love to hate The Walking Dead, don't you?
I don't.
It's one of those
hate-
shows you love to hate. That's
I
okay.
hate-
That's fine.
I think to quote Screen Junkies, it's like be able to show you can't stop watching because you're too far into it to stop.
Yeah.
like you invested too much of your time to stop. It's like, yeah, like
Get
AMC
ready for the
has
show
this-
that makes you say, "Why am I watching this?"
Exactly. Why are we watching this crap? Oh my God! I remember
I
back.
thought they were both really great. Both episodes were fantastic.
I
However-
remember when season 5 started, and I did my first review, and I was like, this is only gonna stay as crappy as it already is. And like then it got reviewed for a 6th season, yay! But then like most of season 6, I was really digging, and then it just ended crappily, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, they have the chance to come back. And this episode that came out last week, and again, full spoilers. Every time we bring up Walking Dead, is going to be spoilers because
Yeah.
I'm not doing a non-spoiler on The Walking
Time
Dead.
codes again, if you can skip, or if you don't care,
Exactly.
you can skip.
Yeah. And like, I hate the fact that everything is so televised now. Like, even if you haven't read the comics up to a certain point, if you are on the internet at all in any kind of vortex listening around and watching things about The Walking Dead, then you will know the events that happen. You will know that Carl gets his eye shot out. People have been saying that that's
Well,
going to happen.
I didn't know that until you told me.
Really? Oh, sorry. See, but that's my point. See, that's my point.
You know,
it's like
them all getting eaten and cutting the head off and all that stuff that you told me. I was like,
yeah, I mean,
so you spoiled me on that. Thanks, mate.
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Mind you, that was awesome, though. I love that. They just wiped out the entire family.
I hated that. I didn't hate that. I'll get to what I hate about that episode.
Yeah.
But it's like, and so the people have been saying that Carl is going to get his eye shot since season 3 when the governor got his eye shot out and or stabbed out, whatever. And that even in the comic book, I'm like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense that somehow a gun at point blank range can just shoot you and just kind of keep the bullet in your eye and not pierce the brain.
Yeah.
I call shenanigans on that.
I thought the makeup was terrible. They should have made it that it just sort of grazed across his face, taking his eye out along the way. But the makeup they did, it was just his eye was out of its head. At least make it look like it's cut past his face, you know?
Like a chunk is gone. Like just this. It looks like a old crappy CG horror film. Like, I don't know.
It's like what the bullet just go in his eye and then decide to stop. I don't think so.
What I said.
It keeps going.
Like,
that's what bullets do.
Said, if it maybe would have grazed his eye and like maybe like clipped his eye and you see like his eyes like falling out, you know, like it's cut in half by the bullet or something, so they have to take it out. That makes more sense. But if the bullet just decided to like pull a Kennedy and just not move anymore. Was Magneto there making sure things looked okay? Yeah, like also, you spent an episode and a half being like, oh man, there's too many walkers outside. There's no way we can all do this. But suddenly we gotta believe in ourselves and we can take down all these.
This is Sparta.
Oh, I was so done. I couldn't do it. I'm like, this is so stupid. So suddenly,
I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. Even Mutton guy is getting out there and is like, ah.
That's awesome.
It was great. It was awesome.
It's a mullet. It's a mullet, by the way.
Hang on, that episode though should have been the season finale for the mid-season finale episode.
Sure.
Because remember how they just sort of walked out and it just kind of ended? I was like, oh, come on. Like, yeah, that episode should have been what the mid-season ended on. But no.
I really liked how they handled the family. When the little boy's talking, everyone had the same reaction. Oh my god, if this kid does not shut up. Everyone had the same reaction. Because we all said, shoot this kid, cover his mouth, take him out before they all die. We were all having the same reaction. And when he got taken out, we were just like,
the kid out when he's freaking out and just drag him.
Put him in like a sleep hold and put him in a sleep hold and put him on your back. And like, that's all you needed to do. And so when they took him out, people were just like, oh, finally. And then like...
I will say though, when the priest guy is like, I'll take the baby, and Rick sort of gives him the baby, I was like, I don't know if I do that, because
absolutely not.
That priest guy, we know that he let the rest of his flock at his church die so that he could get away, so he would totally drop the baby to distract all the walkers so he could run away. That's exactly what he would do. I'd be like, I would not give him the baby.
Yeah, I know, absolutely not. After he let that last walker get in, and like at the end of season 5, I have no, like, he just opened the gate and just left it there. I'm like, what are you doing?
Guys, like, can you close the gate? He's like, yeah, whatever, and he just kind of pushes it and doesn't even check that it.
The show is falling. The show is falling back into its dumb decisions of where I feel like not only are the characters acting like children, but the writers are acting like children because. You know, and we'll jump to the next episode because I just think that last episode ended so stupidly. I have no idea why they did that. The whole thing was handled poorly, in my opinion. How does Deanna become a zombie when she was clearly torn apart by the zombies in the mid-season finale or whatever?
Yeah,
How does that work
that's
out?
A question I have a lot of, like... That's a question I have with the show with the whole life cycle thing. Because it's like, yeah, we know if someone dies just... from natural causes or get shot or whatever, they come back as a zombie. But if someone's being ripped apart by the zombies like you see, how do they reanimate? They'd be in like 20 different pieces.
I think if the brain's okay, like because like in the opening scene or in one of the opening scenes of season 1, like the very first episode, we see a walker on the ground who's clearly been like ripped to shreds, like its torso's all messed up, like its legs are like down the street and it's crawling. That's what Deanna should have looked like, because
Yeah.
she was still alive when the walkers were like outside her door. So what we should see is that
It's
Deanna
not like she got
Connor-
one bite and then ran away and just changed
exactly.
later.
No, it's not like she
was
if
mobbed.
Yeah, if the door was kept locked and she maybe shot herself, that makes more sense. But no, she stood up, she walked out and ran into the walkers.
That's always bothered me, because I'm like, they never really explained that, because like, unless they showed that like walkers will like feast on someone until they reanimate and then they just leave, and that would explain why you'd have, you know, half-eaten walkers walking around. But she didn't even look like she had any bite marks or anything.
She looked like she died of her sickness. Like the writers were acting like children. I had no idea what they did beforehand.
Yeah. I'm sure in the
that's
comics it's explained better, but in the show it's
well, we're not reading a comic book. And I said that about Deadpool, too. So I was defending my opinion on Deadpool to somebody. And like, but that's how it was in the comics. I'm like, yeah, but this is a movie. If I wanted a comic book, I could go read a comic book. Sorry.
Exactly.
And I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate for that in my class. We were sitting in the middle of English, and I got a lot of crap for that. People are like, oh, shut up, Trib. Like, am I wrong? God. Everyone I know loves Deadpool. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm with you on that. Like, if I go to a movie cinema and I purchase a movie ticket, it's because I want to see a movie, not a 2-hour-long commercial telling me to go and read a book. You know?
Yeah. The only good
That's what I said
2-hour-long
with
commercial
The
was the
Hobbit.
Lego movie. All right, the only good 2-hour-long commercial is the Lego movie. I don't know how they pulled that off, by the way. I have no idea how they managed to do that. Make the best 2-hour commercial ever. Okay.
Still haven't seen it.
You still haven't seen the Lego movie?
No.
It's fantastic. I
All
think
right,
you'll
I'm
really.
gonna put it
You
in
may
my
not like
notes
it
for
as
next
much as
week.
everyone
I'm
else
gonna write it
does.
down. Okay, Lego movie.
You may not like it as much as everyone else does because it's been so praised, but you'll probably still really enjoy it. If you like fast-paced things, if you like witty humor, it's also a really good film for kids and adults. Adults are gonna love it too, so hopefully you'll enjoy it. Has your nephew seen it?
I think he probably has. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe you guys can sit down and watch. I'm sure he'll enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say though, like, I'm glad that blonde chick and all her kids and the whole family was wiped out, because I hated that they were setting her up as the love interest for Rick, because I'm like, I don't like her or this family or anything. So I was so happy to see all of them get wiped out, and I was even more happy that in the very next episode, Rick is completely over it and he's already with someone else.
Yeah.
He's like, no. Okay, good.
And I guess let's get to that. So I'm sitting on my bed watching this episode, and like as Rick and Michonne are like leaning into each other and start sucking face into getting it on, I'm speaking out to myself and I say, and yet you could hear millions of fans crying out in joy. Finally, it's about time. Meanwhile, Sherman White sits in his bed saying, "I really don't care," because like they got rid of Michonne's personality like 3.5 seasons ago. So I just and so at this point, they've turned Michonne from being because I think the last time we saw Michonne having any kind of personality was the episode right after the prison. Or a couple episodes after the prison blew up, because that was when we're like, hey, Michonne's no longer just this really surly, quiet killer. She's now, she had a family, she has a backstory, she has feelings. Yeah. But then right away they turned her into a babysitter again for like a season and a half, and then she went back to being the silent, giving speeches kind of type, and now she's just a love interest. Great, awesome.
She has a sword.
So.
So it makes her cool because she has a sword. It's like,
yeah, but what's her character?
It's like Daryl with his crossbow. If you have a weapon, that makes you cool.
That we only got five zombies in this episode, one of which doesn't make sense how it's there. So that's like 4 good zombies in this episode in an hour-long episode. Yeah. So like, and I think Michonne kills 1 in like 1 swipe, so that makes her cool. No, thank you.
Man, you really hate this show.
No, it's like it sucks because like was I not praising it last like a couple months ago? Like, was I not saying how great some of those episodes were in season 6 at the start? Screen Check is
true. Yeah.
And I'm like, they did some really great things. I was even down for the Glenn death. I was like, that's a good way to keep the show going. I wasn't a fan of how they did it, but I'm happy they did it. And then they brought him back. I'm like, all right, guys.
Didn't you like the bit where Daryl blew up those bikers with the rocket launcher? I thought that was cool. He just comes out and he's like, What a bunch of assholes.
I liked when
I'm like, that's very terrible.
I like when Jesus or whoever is like, you guys don't even have any bullets, do you? And like they both shoot the walker simultaneously. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll tell you what, and this was part of the half hour of Walking Dead that I've liked.
He's
is everything with
scout for Negan though, right?
Absolutely,
he's got to be.
That's why I'm happy they didn't kill him. Like, don't kill anyone from Negan's crew. He's a fair man. Don't kill anyone from Negan's crew.
They've already killed like 15
that's
guys.
True. That's true. Yeah. So that's my thing, though. Like, everything with Rick and Daryl's storyline, I was for. I'm like, this is good. You know, it's not all. They're first of all, they're bonding, which I hadn't seen them done in forever, which is nice. You know, secondly, you know, there's action, but it's not just like action for the sake of action. They're clearly furthering the story along. But then they would cut to like Maggie talking to Edith and being like, maybe you shouldn't be such a teenager. She's like, well, I'm gonna keep being a teenager because, you know, Maggie's not doing anything right now. And then it would cut to Carl and Edith, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, they're both being teenagers, and Carl's being a teenager, because that's what teenagers do, because kids get to act irrationally in TV shows. And then it would cut to Deanna stuff. I'm like, well, I don't care about the Deanna stuff. And then all Deanna's son, I'm like, well, he lost all my respect for him episodes ago. And then Michonne just being Michonne, giving a bunch of speeches and looking intense, and killing a zombie in one hit, because that creates dramatic tension. And then Rick and Michonne
leaving
kiss.
Her spot on the guard tower to follow someone into the woods.
Yes.
Are you supposed to be on the tower?
Yeah.
Isn't that more important?
Yeah.
These are questions that you don't need to think about.
Oh, sure, of course. I mean, if I want to just cut my brain out and watch a dumb TV show, I can watch
zombie movies.
I can watch NCIS, or CSI.
You're right, but I just don't take the show seriously enough to care about it all that much.
Well, if I'm gonna watch it, I gotta say something about it. I can't just be like, it was okay. It was alright. No, I gotta say something about it.
But see, when you watch it, do you watch it like because I normally just like I'm working on editing on videos and watching it like in window mode on my computer at the same time.
I mean, I was ironing my clothes.
It's probably why the annoying stuff doesn't bother me as much, because I'm just doing other stuff as well.
I'll be washing dishes or ironing my clothes for school the next day. You know, but the thing is, it's like I'll be ironing my clothes, and usually I'll be listening to a podcast or listening to some music, be like, oh, this is very entertaining to listen to. But meanwhile, I'm also watching The Walking Dead, and I'm like, I'm not being entertained. Why am I not being entertained? In which I start thinking about things. I'm like, why am I not having a nice time watching this right now? Oh, here's why. Because it's all stupid. And it's boring. And they're all walking in the woods again. Just like people walking in the woods.
Yeah, God. Let's just get to Negan. I want the war. I want to see the war happen.
Have fun. They're gonna tease Negan at
He'll
the
probably
end of
show
the
up
season.
at the very last episode. Yeah.
No, in the last 10 minutes of the very last episode, and then like one kind of cool thing will happen, and then season 7. Well, what am I complaining about? I'm gonna watch it anyway. So let's move on.
Actually, one last thing.
Okay.
What about in the first episode back off the mid-season break? There was that wolf guy who saved the doc.
Oh, the doc who has no reason being out there running like the way she could, because she couldn't run for anything, and just like should have been dead immediately.
And even though it makes absolutely no sense that he would suddenly turn good and try to save her, but you know why they did it? Because what's her name? Jedi Morgan, is that his name?
Yeah,
whatever
Morgan.
it is.
He gets shimmers.
It's his fault. He's like, he was trying to turn him good, and it's like, no, he's not going to turn good. But they did turn him good to try to make that guy look not like a complete idiot, which he is.
I think they should have kept. I think that would have been a nice kind of turn point for that character of like, hey, you know, they're right. There are bad people in this world. Sometimes you have to kill. That would have been a nice lesson for him to learn. But no, he turned good, so he was able to have a mercy killing. Okay, sure.
That's right.
Great.
So yeah, we should probably move on.
Okay. Go. Do you want to talk about your whatever it is you did?
Oh yes, I saw Zoolander 2, and it was,
spoilers.
No, I won't spoil it. There's nothing really to spoil.
You don't have to worry about spoilers.
Look, there was some. Listen, Ben Stiller. I like Ben Stiller. He's like the talented cousin of Adam Sandler. You know, if Adam Sandler was actually talented and he actually put effort into things, he'd probably be Ben Stiller, because Ben Stiller does make funny movies. This one, it had some good jokes, but it just felt like it was lacking something. I don't know. And really, really unnecessarily complicated story for what's supposed to be just jokes about how dumb is this male model guy. So ugh. And they'd use the whole thing that he has a son and he's trying to get a son and all, because I guess they'd like, hey, that plot works so well for Dumb and Dumberer, so yeah, let's use that. So ugh. Yeah, look, probably my recommendation is for anyone who wants to see it, wait till it just comes out as a rental or on Netflix, and just watch it when you just want to watch something stupid.
Yeah. Don't see some. It's already like bombing out of theaters. I think it did like 13 million in its opening weekend here in the U.S. and then dropped in like 70% out of the top 5. So it's
way too many cameos. Way too many, and they're not even funny though. The cameos are just like, hey, look, it's this guy.
Yep.
And a lot of them I didn't even know who it was. I'm like, who the hell's that?
Pulls up Wikipedia on his phone.
Yeah, I'm like, they're like, hey, it's this person. You have to go Google it to figure out, okay, why are they? And then by the time you have, they're gone. They had nothing.
Was the Benedict Cumberbatch?
That was funny. That was really, really funny. He was great, Benedict Cumberbatch. Man, he was creepy because he was playing like this
androgynous kind of like Bowie-esque model,
an asexual model where you're not sure if it's a man or a woman.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn funny.
I lost it when I saw him in the trailer for it, and like he just showed up. I was on my floor just like dying for like a couple minutes because it's so funny seeing him. You know, it just looks okay. Well, I'm happy you had I don't know.
Yeah, there are a few good jokes like when he finds his son and he does. I mean, initially he doesn't like his son because he's smart and fat, and you know that's funny, I guess. But he says to his son, because he's going to go take his son to have like a makeover or whatever. And son's like, I don't want to. And he's like, look, you're the most self-centered person I've ever met. And Zoolander says, but I don't think of me like that. Then the kid runs away and Zoolander goes, wait, I thought we were going to give each other facials. So there you go. Just watch the trailer, and you've heard most of the best jokes of the
FBI is
trailer,
knocking at Bandit's door for mentioning facials to a 16-year-old.
I was quoting the movie, so they can blame Ben Stiller.
That's your defense. You see OJ in the background. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. You see Michael Jackson? Yeah, you will.
Well, he was simply referring to facial like the makeup. I don't know what you were thinking about.
I was thinking of facial like the makeup because I don't like wearing makeup, you pervert. No, I'm kidding. Okay, are you done talking about Zoolander 2?
Yes.
See it if you wish, guys. I didn't see the first one.
Either way.
This weekend, my friend, one of my friends said, "Hey, the San Antonio Symphony, because that's where I live, San Antonio, Texas. The San Antonio Symphony, they are doing a special kind of in concert of Raiders of the Lost Ark," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So they're playing the music. Like, no. They're going to be showing the entire movie, and they'll just be playing the soundtrack for it. And I said, "Oh my god." It's been a couple of years since I've seen Raiders. And so I went and I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark this weekend, and I saw it in concert. Yeah. It was really good. It's a really good movie. It's been a while since I've seen it.
And go back again. So you saw the movie, but it was in concert?
Well, it's like, okay, so they had a screen where they projected the actual movie. It's in a symphony hall. And they have a screen there where they showed the movie, but instead of the usual score that you would hear in the background, underneath was a pit orchestra playing the actual soundtrack for the movie. Yeah, and they do these all the time, and I know because I went to one of what was it? I forgot, but I know they did. It was the Nutcracker, and they did that, and they did the soundtrack to it. And I know, you know. And like right before they showed Indiana Jones, they showed they're going to do Jurassic Park, and I'm like, I have to go to Jurassic Park, but I can't wait till they do Star Wars, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be so awesome. I think they do it at the Hollywood Bowl in California, but I don't live in California. But yeah, that was nice. It's a really good movie.
So it didn't get in the way of like, well, I guess you already know the plot of the movie, so if the music overshadows what's happening in the movie, it doesn't matter, right?
It was more in the smaller moments. You could tell that everyone on stage was a huge fan of both this movie and John Williams. Like the concertmaster, who was the head violinist, who kind of helped lead the entire orchestra, which included band instruments as well. she came on stage with her stand partner, and she explained about how, she grew up watching the movie, she grew up listening to John Williams, and how much of a big fan she was, and usual stuff. But you could tell like there was so much passion on stage. You can tell like I was looking at people's lips during the movie, and people were quoting the movie with it. And it was a packed out, like this was a symphony hall. There were a lot of people in, and it was packed, and it was really good. But I think it wasn't really, like, after 10 minutes or so, you kind of forget the orchestra's there until the smaller moments come by in the dialogue scenes, and, like, there's the whimsical John Williams score in the background, and sometimes it would get a little bit overpowering. But for the most part, especially in those action sequences, it was incredible. Like, they meshed it perfectly. But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What,
if you ever get a chance.
In the time codes, what am I going to call this? Indiana Jones Orchestra?
Oh, I don't know.
Raiders of the Lost Ark opera version? Like, what should I call it?
It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Brackets orchestra or something like that.
Yeah, or brackets in concert. There you go. Raiders of the Lost Ark brackets in concert.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I just thought I'd bring it up because that's what I did over the weekend. It was really cool to see. Raiders of the Lost Ark's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Really violent. Like, really violent.
Yeah, you forget how violent it is until you see it.
Yeah. Like he shoots people and, like, blood falls out of their mouths and stuff. You're just like, that is something that Quentin Tarantino does today. And it's called controversial. I mean, it's not as, like, visceral, I guess, but it's essentially the same thing happening. Like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Like when he throws the guy through the front window and then runs him over.
Yeah.
Really brutal.
Yeah,
murders so many
like,
people. Indiana Jones were like, "Yay, he's a hero."
I think my only issue is that you can tell everyone there was a huge fan of Indiana Jones. So, like, I'm sitting next to a guy who's, like, clearly in his 40s or 50s, and he can just quote the whole movie, and he did. Like, but like he wasn't like silently quoting, he was like quoting it out loud, which I really hate in movies, where I'm trying to watch a movie and I hear someone say the quote literally seconds before the person says their quote in the movie. I'm like, if I wanted to hear you quote the movie, we could quote it outside. I'm here to watch a movie.
Yeah, you're not in your lounge room, okay?
Thank you. And I turned to him and I said, I was like, could you please keep it down? And he's just like, hey man, it's an event. I'm like, yeah, but I want to watch the movie. But I don't want to make a scene, so I just, like, when he's like, snakes, why is it always snakes? He said that line, like, 30 seconds before Indy said it, and I'm like, God. I'd like to, anyways, rant over. But that was my weekend. It was a nice weekend. Yeah.
Cool, all right.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so as you guys know, if you guys don't know, I guess, in preparation for Batman v Superman, which comes out in a little over 1 month. Oh my God, like almost to the day, 1 month. Me and Bandit are going to be we are reviewing the entire Dark Knight trilogy and Man of Steel leading up to the Batman v Superman, because we didn't do it in the Christopher Nolan episode. And today we are doing Dark Knight Rises, which, as we said earlier, is clearly the Return of the Jedi of this trilogy, for better or for worse. Essentially for worse is what that means.
Certainly is, yeah.
And Bandit by my timestamp. That being said, it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think that Dark Knight Rises it has its problems. Like, I wrote down notes for the movie about like things I just were clearly evident after almost. Oh man, the movie's gonna be out for 4 years. Jesus, after 3.5 years of just constant scrutiny, the problems are very obvious, which I think is a really big problem with this. Like, it's hard to go back and watch. It's like watching Prometheus. It's really hard to go back and watch this movie in the same light that you had when you first watched it, because you went in and, like, even like the second or third time we went and watched the movie, the problems weren't being talked about for a year and for years. Yeah. And so I go back and I watch Dark Knight Rises and I hear Bane speak, and my mind instantly goes to a review of someone complaining that Bane's voice sounded like too much, that it was redone in post-production.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hear it. I don't care, but I hear it when it's bothering me.
I found as well my experience watching it again after all this time, because like with Batman Begins and Dark Knight, when we did them, I said both times, like, going back and watching it, I'd forgotten how good each of those movies were. With this one, complete opposite. I was watching it and I was like, wow, this has not aged well. This is not
I forgot
good.
I forgot how slow it was.
And I remember so many stuff that is just not necessary in the story, and so many decisions that are just wrong. But I think the one point where I was like, actually, I think this is a crap movie, was where I went back and watched, and it's at the bit where Bane is, he's just taken over the city, and he's reading Commissioner Gordon's
Oh my god!
letter.
I love that scene.
And I'm watching
that
scene, he's like, and I'm looking at it, and you got Bane there reading in this wacky voice this letter. Written,
his Adam
the
Sandler
Batman
impersonation.
didn't kill Harvey. Don't you save my boy? And I watched it, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
I like that.
I was like, how did we not think this was completely ridiculous at the time?
I liked it. I still like that scene. I think it's
so stupid, man.
How so? Explain yourself.
Well, first of all, it's like he's reading a letter, and everyone just believes it. It's like, well, how do you even know that's Commissioner Gordon's letter? Like,
I mean, at this point, if you're a criminal, if you're a criminal in Blackgate Prison, and if this guy has taken out a football stadium, killed the mayor, and he's about to show you the symbol of your liberation or whatever he says. At this point, you're just like, all right, I'll believe the guy. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Why does the rest of the city, like, I can't remember. Maybe it was how it should have ended, where everyone's like, he's like, here is the letter proving, and like they're going, well, how do we even know that's how do we even know that's Commissioner Gordon's letter? We're just supposed to take your word for it? Could be written in crayon for all we know. And it's like the way he's reading it, I was like, this is ridiculous. It's like he's reading a bedtime story to someone. But yeah, so when I was watching it, I was like,
I
was like, Dark Knight Rises.
Commissioner lied.
I'm going to say it. Like, after all this time and having watched it again, it sucks. It sucks. It's the dumbest movie. I think it's actually the worst movie Nolan's ever made. It's not saying that it's all bad. There's still good stuff in there, but man, that movie's got problems.
I think that's not necessarily a bad thing to say that it's one of his weaker movies, because
well, I think
to
it's
me at least
his worst.
I still enjoy the film. And so to say that it is his weaker movie, and for me to still like it, I think says something about how good Nolan is as a filmmaker, because it's okay. Like, look, Spielberg made The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Like, we all mess up. He made Indiana Jones 4. Like, we all make bad movies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying The Dark Knight Rises is a bad movie. In my personal opinion, I will list you my problems. My problems: Marion Cotillard as Miranda Tate. Maybe one of the worst characters in any.
Al Ghul.
Yeah, maybe one of the worst characters in any movie ever, any comic movie ever.
Death scene though.
Oh my god, I can't.
She goes full retard in that death scene. My father's work is done. Dies.
Bandit would like to apologize for using the word retard. He would like to apologize if he offended anybody, since retard is essentially the N word of the special ed community. He will apologize, and as his lawyer, I will condone his apology.
Yes, I will read this statement. I hereby say. Which is also written in crayon.
Here, have some money. It's a box of tissue.
Oh man, but yeah,
let's keep. Yeah, she.
Miranda Tate. The love scene between her and Bruce Wayne just comes completely.
Exactly. I wrote that down. I was like, why is he suddenly doing like this? Makes no what I put here.
Like, if anything,
why does Bruce sleep with Tate? They share 1.5 scenes together.
Yeah, and it's like, if anything, like, when he gets home and he can't get in the house, it should have been Catwoman there. Catwoman's there. She breaks in. They sleep together. You've actually built a romance between the two of them. That makes sense. But the only reason they made it Talia is because they want to put in the twist later on, which is like a twist on a twist. Too many twists. Just make Bane being who Bane is.
I still think it's a pretty powerful scene. Whenever, even if you've read like one comic about Ra's al Ghul, you can instantly click that it's Talia. Like, even if you don't know it's Talia, you're like, she had a costume change. She's being really close to Bane. That looks like a little girl instead of a little. Oh my god, it's Talia al Ghul. Like, you could probably figure that out probably an hour before it happens.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, all the Batman fans, like there was shots from on set of her in that outfit when she's revealed as Talia, and we all knew straight away that's Talia.
See, I never saw those pictures, so 12-year-old me lost his mind.
But even then, like when the fight's going on, she's supposed to be a hostage, and when the big fight between the cops and all Bane's guys is happening, you see her standing by a window and looking.
Yeah.
And just from the way that she's looking, you can be like, okay, she's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, they give it away long before she sticks the knife through the apparently stab-proof bat suit.
That's not that. No, that suit is not knife proof. To quote Lucius Fox in Dark Knight, makes you more vulnerable to knives and gunfire because the plates are separate.
The Dark Knight,
but it's the same suit because the plates are separated.
I thought it was upgraded.
It's the same suit. Really? I think his upgraded suit, I think, is the one that he wears when he fights Bane. I don't know. Point being, I'm going to use other movies to answer some plot holes.
Yeah.
One of my other... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, another thing, right off the bat, don't like the name. Dark Knight Rises. I don't like it. Come up with a better name, okay? Because you already got The Dark Knight. Don't have Dark Knight Rises. Call it something like Gotham Knight, or Batman Legacy, or Legacy of the Bat, or something else, or just The Batman.
The Bourne Legacy.
Dark Knight Rises just sucks as a name, doesn't
it? Would you prefer Batman Evolution or Batman Reloaded?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I liked the Dark Knight Rises.
Him there with 2 machine guns, riding a horse, just shooting everyone.
That's Thomas Wayne, man. I think that I like the title because it fits to what the movie's about. Rising through the pain, that's what you've gone through. I think I will give it to you, and I put it here in my notes. Let me find it here real quick. I said the first thing I wrote down here was quitting for 8 years isn't Batman, but the Nolan trilogy isn't true comic book Batman anyways. Like I think, and
I absolutely agree with you on that. That was a huge mistake they did, having him become this weird hermit for 8 years. Terrible.
And I'm
decision.
not excusing it, but I'm just saying that Nolan's Batman from the get-go has clearly not been truly accurate comic book Batman. Like from the get-go, he lets Ra's al Ghul die. He kills Harvey Dent. Like from the get-go, he has done things that have not been very Batman-like. This probably being the biggest in terms of quitting for 8 years. And I think Kevin Smith had a great point when he said he feels like the only reason they made an 8-year gap is so that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character could grow up. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's a theory.
But it's like they made him the weird hermit because when we covered our Christopher Nolan episode, recurring theme is there's a lonely guy. So that's another Nolan thing. Wants to have the lonely guy. They also wanted to make it like Dark Knight Returns. Like there's a lot of nods to Dark Knight Returns, which again is confusing when we first heard that Batman v Superman is going to be very much like that. But we won't get into all that. But yeah, I agree. It's like in Dark Knight Returns, like he had a good reason for why he retired, and even though he was retired and he wasn't Batman, he was still out there as Bruce Wayne. He was active.
Wasn't it because he pulled a gun out on somebody, and so he forced himself to quit, or was it the government that eventually told him to stop?
Oh yeah, it was the government.
I thought it was because he pulled a gun out on somebody in his old. I remember seeing that somewhere, but I've been wrong before. I've been wrong several times.
From memory, I think it was the government sort of forced everyone to stop, but also he felt bad about Robin and all that.
Yeah, because I remember they sent Superman after Green Arrow. And we know what happened there, and so yeah.
I mean, coming off the back of the Dark Knight, it does make sense that he's no longer Batman because he took the fall at the end of the Dark Knight. But he should still be doing stuff as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. He should still be proactive. And like he apparently did do stuff because he built that thing that turns into the bomb later on.
Yeah,
which is another thing.
Which
we'll get
I was fine with the whole. I guess we should lead right into that. Yeah. The whole clean energy thing. Look, the fact that it can become a nuclear bomb is so stupid. Yeah. And every time I watch Batman carry that thing off to the ocean, my mind automatically goes to some days just can't get rid of a bomb. Like every time that Bat is carrying that thing out over the water, the music plays in my head. The Girl Scouts and the nuns and the baby ducks or whatever, sitting on the docks that are just trying to avoid these people. It gets me every time because the bomb looks so similar. But I like the fact
it's great because that showed us that Batman has the ability that we never knew he had to teleport, because he somehow teleported away from the blast.
He ejected and got away. Look, if I can swallow the fact that Gotham didn't immediately get radiation poisoning from the blast, that was 58-mile radius. No way. No way does that not create a tsunami. Does not create a tsunami that wipes out like most of outer Gotham, and then the radiation from that water and the radiation from the bomb. If Chernobyl takes 40 years to die down, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way that.
Also, but what they went through to get that bomb and convert it into a bomb was way more elaborate than it needed to be. Way more.
Yeah.
Because, the League of Shadows has got contacts everywhere. Couldn't they just buy a nuke on the black market? I'm sure they could manage it. They're the League of Shadows. Why do they? Because they do this whole thing where they bankrupt Bruce Wayne. They do the stock exchange thing, and they bankrupt Bruce Wayne, which is weird because earlier in the movie they say he's already broke, so I guess they made him more broke. Yeah, again, problems. But they do that so that he has to turn to Miranda and show her where the bomb is, and then she can get it. And just get one on the black market. You don't need to go through all that. I think they wanted to. I think they wanted to make this as personal as possible. That's where I will give Nolan some credit. I think that their whole point was that they wanted to show that Bruce Wayne trying to save the city is what failed the city. But that, and going back to the stock exchange thing, no way do any of those transactions that happened that day count. No. Let's say ISIS goes to Wall Street and like ruins Bill Gates' stock, ruins Apple, ruins Disney. God forbid the mouse would shoot them down. But yeah, that you'd see some mouse soldiers just jump through the windows and take them all out. No way that's gonna happen. They're all carrying lightsabers. No, but yeah,
no.
I don't know how the stock exchange works, but yeah, you think they would have stuff in place for that.
Well, it's like it's a series of deals, and everyone people get shares, and those shares give people money. It's been a series of tradings. Yeah. I learned about it back in second grade, so my memory's cloudy.
Yeah, I know what the stock exchange is.
I'm sorry. Well, you said you didn't know how it worked. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if someone hacks in and does trades with your account, like how that works. That's what I mean.
Well, if it's like a massive robbery, you would assume that they would just not count anything that happened that day, right?
Or the trades wouldn't go through, or something like that. But also,
just how
they're doing it to bankrupt Bruce Wayne, but he already said he was broke. Remember, he goes to Fox earlier. He's like, "What happened to all my money?" He's like, "Well, you sunk it all in that alternative energy thing, and then you mothballed it, so you got no money." So why are they trying to make him broke? He's already broke. It's
I'm not going against these things. I agree with you. Then that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I still really like the movie. Why? Let's keep going through the problems.
Well,
I don't have a problem with anything with Selena Kyle. Anything with her storyline, I was a big fan of.
I think she's great.
I love the Weasley guy she was dealing with. I love the Weasley guy's Weasley guy. I loved all that. I loved he's in Game of Thrones, by the way.
Of Weasley guys, and they get more Weasley as you head up.
The Weasley guy's assistant is in Game of Thrones. He plays the guy
and
that
Littlefinger. He's
Bran,
the guy at the beginning with the plane,
doing the worst American accent since Jude Law and Spy. He's just butchering, doing a Sam Worthington-esque American accent.
Was getting caught part of your plan? No, that was Joker's plan, but we're reusing it again because it worked so well.
All right. Now, if we're going to get into rehashing, we can do a lot, because they pretty much rehash the same score from the first two movies, which is probably my biggest problem with the
League of Shadows plan basically is exactly the same as what happened in
that makes
Batman Begins, but it was Arkham Island got sealed off, all the bridges were raised and all that. This time it's like the whole city is sealed off, all the bridges are blown up.
That makes sense, because
except
Talia's
the one
trying
in
to do
Batman Begins made way more sense than this one.
Oh, I'll give you that.
Well,
Even though Batman
Talia
Begins
was
makes
going
no
to
sense
blow
as well.
herself up and the entire League of Shadows along with the city.
I think that was her plan.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, right? Like,
to
we
quote
know...
Kylo Ren, she was going to finish what Liam Neeson started. Oh God, it's the Force Awakens.
Okay, like, we know that the League of Shadows guys are willing to sacrifice themselves. You get that in the very first scene of, like, we'll need one of us in the wreckage, brother. So that's fine, but remember Liam Neeson, he said that, like, League of Shadows has been a check against human corruption for thousands of years. So even though he was going to destroy Gotham, he wasn't going to... Like, he made sure all his guys had masks. He wasn't going to wipe out League of Shadows with the city because he needs them to continue on. She was going to blow up the entire... Like... Fine, she's going to kill herself, but she's going to kill everyone. Wipe out the whole League of Shadows.
I don't think the entire League of Shadows was
steal a boat or something, or get a helicopter or something.
I don't think the entire League of Shadows was in Gotham. But I mean, if you want to make that leap, go ahead. But I don't see that she's sent, because the League of Shadows has been around for thousands of years. There are clearly, presumably, thousands of members.
Yeah.
I mean,
but if
so
you're
it would make
controlling
sense
the whole
that
city, most of them would have to be there, right?
I mean,
plus
you just
her
get
and Bane are the
get a
leaders.
couple hundred you just get a couple hundred mercenaries.
Yeah.
Since all the cops are down in the subways or whatever. What
Kind of bother me.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Again, Batman Begins did that better because the cops were on Arkham Island to round up the soldiers and the gas incapacitated them. That made so much more sense.
I was taking notes as I was watching, and I put in all caps, really? Every cop in Gotham? Like, seriously? You send every cop down to... come on. Yeah, like, there's no excuse for that. Like, there's...
The
that
How It Should Have
big
Ended one. Have you seen the How It Should Have Ended clip?
Yes.
He's
my
like,
God.
I want you to round up every cop in the city and march them down into the sewers. Off duty, on duty, I don't care. Get every single cop into the sewers. But what if something happens? There'll be literally no cops left. And he's like, oh my God, you're right. Maybe you shouldn't listen to me. I'm hooked up to this morphine.
Yeah, have some money and hands me a box of tissues. I mean, yeah, I just...
Yeah.
Which sucks because Gary Oldman, I think is doing his best work in the entire trilogy in this movie. Like, he's so broken and he's so weak and he looks so tired. He looks so like his whole life is just falling apart. So that we'll bring up to them the good parts I like about this movie pretty soon. But my favorite scene in the entire movie is the ending where Gordon walks over and looks at the new built bat signal and like looks at the sky and just starts smiling. Like, you can that scene just makes me like, every time I watch this, I get like choked up. It's like, oh my God, he has something to live for again. That was always something that that scene
I like how he left
heart.
little clues for everyone that he did survive.
Yeah.
Like with Fox, there's the whole autopilot thing, so he realizes he's okay.
Yeah.
With Alfred, there's the bit in the cafe.
Oh, I love the ending of this movie. Really, like I think the last 10 or so minutes are really great. Even with the whole he wouldn't survive that, I gave it a pass. It's a movie. How does everyone's blood not boil when the thing goes off Batman Begins?
Yeah.
How does the Joker know how to do such and such? How does he know how to tap bombs? I honestly think that it makes this.
It's also fine because it's like the end of the trilogy as well. So it's not just the end of the movie that they do at the end of the trilogy. So we're happy to suspend disbelief a bit in order to get that happy ending.
Yeah, like we just want to be like,
even though
this
people would recognize Bruce Wayne in France at a cafe, yeah. But who cares?
Yeah. Look, at this point, we just want the guy to smile again because Bruce Wayne hasn't smiled forever. Yeah. I can't after rewatching it, it's so satisfying to see Alfred look over and nod and cut to Bruce Wayne and he looks happy. It's so satisfying just to see Bruce Wayne smile again. It's like, Bruce, you're happy.
I would have killed Batman if it was up to me. I would have had him die in the blast. But
Me
that's
too.
just me.
Me too. I would have done, and there've been this idea has been put up before. I would have had the whole bomb go off. I would have had Alfred go to the cafe, look up, smile, nod, cut to black. That's how I would have done the movie. It would have made a lot of people mad, but that's how I would have done it because this whole trilogy is about interpretation and theming. Yeah. Why not have the ending be the same way?
It'd be like
I think that would have
Inception
been much
ending,
more powerful. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, we still need to talk about Inception, don't we? We'll figure that out one day. So I'll talk about that.
Well, yeah, I think I really like. We talked about Catwoman before. I forgot to mention this, but yeah, I really liked Anne Hathaway's the way she played Catwoman. I think it was good. I think it fit with this world that she still had like the cat-like suit, but like they sort of they had reasons for why she dressed like that and all that, and like she'd put her goggles up and they'd form the cat ears. See, I liked all that stuff. I thought it was a little weird that like her subplot of that she's looking for the clean slate, the thing that erases her from every database in the world so she can start over. And I was like, yeah, you could do that, but instead of erasing your name and face from every database in the world, you could just change your name. Just change your name, dye your hair,
get some
solved,
plastic surgery. You know? It's, I mean, in
get
this
a fake
universe
ID.
where
Instead of erasing your name, just pick a different identity. People do it all the time.
That's definitely a way to fix that whole subplot. But I think I thought it all worked for me. I think, and we haven't even gotten to Bane. We haven't even gotten to him yet. I think in my opinion, he's the best thing about the movie. Every time he's on screen, Tom Hardy's just having so much fun. You know, he's like, "This is a stock exchange, nothing for you to steal."
Really? Why are you people here?
I'm like, yeah. I think everything about.
Are you talking into a cup when you do the Bane voice or something? Because
no,
it sounds really good.
Really, I'm covering my hand and leaving a little space when I talk. Like, you know,
okay.
you do a shot cutter in, then you make some little more flat with it, and then you cover it up. Look, I've been doing this impression.
Your children, Doctor. I hope so.
No, I've been doing this Bane impression since I saw the movie. Since before I saw the movie, because I saw the trailers. So,
I think for me, I think the best parts are the two fights between Batman and Bane. Hands down, both of them are just awesome.
I think Nolan really he topped himself in terms of like the best fight scenes, except maybe the hallway fight in Inception, is the Batman versus Bane fight in the sewers.
Yeah, good old squash match. You need a good squash match every now and then.
Like when that gate closes and he's like, you just made a serious mistake. Not the shittiest as yours. I see. I'm just like,
Sleeping agent? Yeah. I was going to use him later, but figured now it's good enough.
He's like, it thinks it'd take more than one aside. Just it's like 15. I was like, oh, that'll do it. It's like takes a pass out. Though to be fair, if I was Batman, the first thing I would have done is punch Bane in the mouth. But that's the first thing I would have done. Yeah. Like, especially if he's like talking smack and trying to like and beating me, I'd been like, how about if I hit you in the mouth, maybe hit you in the balls?
Yeah,
you know,
I'd go straight
you're still
for the
man.
Groin. Straight for the groin.
Well, because Kevin Smith said he's like, the first thing you should do is punch that guy in the mouth. He's like, clearly that's where he's like. But then again, but stepping to the fight.
That's Batman. Still. He's mastered 127 different martial arts. Only uses punches.
Except Indiana Jones style of fighting, where it's like pocket sand, groin shot. Yeah.
But I think because again, sort of mirroring the nods to the Dark Knight Returns, is those two fights with Bane, kind of a lot like how Batman fights the mutant in Dark Knight Returns, where he gets clobbered in the first one, but then he comes back in the second one. However, when Batman fights Bane the second time, I thought they would have, like in Dark Knight Returns, he's thought it through and he's figured out that, okay, I'm not as strong as I used to be. This guy's really strong, so I'll fight him when we're both knee-deep in mud, so he's slower. And, you know, he's gets a cut above his eyes, so he starts bleeding and he can't see. Like, he's using
breaking his legs. And, he's... Yeah.
This one, he's just like, I'll just keep punching you, and then hopefully that mask will break.
This Batman's not very smart, okay?
He's really not.
But that's okay. But that's okay. I'm okay. Like I said, this is not comic book Batman. Sorry.
Yeah. But one of my viewers, I think on one of my videos, he was saying we were talking about the whole Bane mask. We're like, how does that actually work? What does it do? And I remember one of the comments was, it would have been great if like Batman rips off the mask, and it turns out that the mask doesn't even do anything, and Bane's just like, theatricality and deception, powerful weapons. Like, how good would that have been?
Oh, dude,
that would have been so awesome.
But then people would have been like, he doesn't look all scarred underneath, but he's not evil.
But that would have fit perfectly, wouldn't it? That would have been really cool. Rips off the mask and he's just a normal face. He's like, what?
Yeah. And then Batman punches him in the face, and Batman's like, theatricality and deception, you know, or something like that. Like, he takes his words back on him. I called that first fight between him and Bane, I called it Batman v Batman v Bane: Dawn of Taunt. That's what I call that, because Bane is just destroying him, and it's like, and it's so satisfying to watch Batman just get trounced by this guy, and like
it is. Why is that?
I think it's because this was kind of his first physical match.
Yeah.
And plus Bruce Wayne got really cocky. It's the Rocky 3 syndrome. Bruce Wayne got really cocky in this movie, to the point to where I was starting not to like him, after his and Alfred's confrontation, and he clearly needs to be knocked down a peg, which is why I think...
Look at his ferocity, his training. What's going to happen when you go up against him?
Alfred enough.
I'll fight harder, I always have. And that's basically what he did. He just fought harder.
Yeah. I'm the best superhero in the world. I even stopped Gotham from dying. He's the best superhero in the world. That's pretty much what he is in the first time. He's Anakin Skywalker. Oh, I'm going to get a lot of crap for that. Oh, boy.
Batman is Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, God. I'm going to get so much hate. Okay. That being said, I still really enjoy this movie. I think what Nolan pulled off was quite exceptional. And I really, like I said, I really like the ending. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt in his role. Robin Blake. I thought everything he did was really great.
I hated that character.
Really?
Could have completely cut him out of the movie.
True.
Like, even that whole bit at the end where he's got the busload of kids on the bridge, and I'm like, none of this actually matters, really.
No,
it doesn't matter. It's like Batman's towing the bomb away. We should be there, not watching Joseph Gordon-Levitt, being an idiot. Who cares? Yeah, I hate that.
But who do you put in the Batcave at the end of the movie? You don't put anybody in the Batcave at the end of the movie. Maybe you cut to an empty Batcave. And I don't know. Maybe just cut, to an empty Batcave. Like the water is starting to, flood the place, like how the kind of like what the computer did with Lucius at the end of Dark Knight. Show that the story's closing. Maybe having like Alfred like lock the door to an empty Batcave. So something like that. But I think I liked everything. I think that character was interesting. Sorry. Go ahead.
Did you like, when you say you liked everything, does that include the magical knee brace that fixes all of his injuries?
I was talking about the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character, but yes, I like the magical knee brace.
I was looking through my notes while you were talking.
Good to know that you listen to my points. I like the magical knee brace.
Really?
I just thought it was a nice, quick way to get him back into shape. I thought
I didn't like it because the doctor said it's all of your joints, but one knee brace on one knee fixes everything.
I just thought that at that point I said, you know what? It's so weird that I'm giving this movie so many like passes when I just like crack for Walking Dead. It's so weird, isn't it? But I think it's because in the presentation, I think it's shot really well. Everyone's really great, and I think the score is fantastic, if repetitive, but it's really good.
Yeah. Well, I guess the knee brace is not a stretch because, I guess if somebody can hang on a rope and that fixes a broken back, then a knee brace fixing everything else is not
the back is what I have problems with.
That's what Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises shows us the Batman can teleport away from nuclear blasts, and he has Wolverine's healing factor. Great job, Christopher Nolan.
Oh man!
Do you want to talk about the whole making the climb?
I loved that. No, you hated that? No.
Hey, Batman, there's a thing called a ladder.
It's called dramatic tension.
I know. They wanted the symbolism of that. He fell down the hole when he was a kid into that well.
All they needed was one line. All they needed was one line of like, there's a guard that comes down and removes supplies to make things. I don't know. Or maybe just one line of like, well, we tried that and it didn't work. It's just like the Maze Runner where just like try. It's like, did you try a ladder? And like no one ever mentions a ladder in that movie. You're just like,
Yeah, but like you think about it, you don't even have to climb up to the ledge where you make the jump because there's the pulley system. So instead of that catching you, you get 5 guys on the other end. They just pull you up to the ledge, right? You just get a plank of wood, put it across, just walk over, and you're done.
Or you have the guys lift you up to a beast. That was my biggest problem with. I was just like, couldn't they just like have him lift him up to the pace where he doesn't have to make the jump anymore? Or like I never understood why you had to make the jump. I never understood why you had to make the jump. I'm like, couldn't you just like maybe put a bridge across and maybe get a running start instead of just jumping by yourself? Like, And it's so obvious too when you watch a second time that you need to do it without the rope. It's so obvious when you're watching it. You're just like, clearly the rope is pulling him back. It's not necessarily the fear, but the rope itself. The rope is clearly too heavy to have him make it across. Also, Bruce Wayne can fall from a great height with his back still trying to heal and snap his head on the and break it and hit his head on the wall and be fine.
Yep.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's like you just recovered from a broken back. You fall like 20 feet, get ripped up by this rope.
Yeah.
Now you just wrecked your back again. You would not be on the floor doing push-ups again 5 minutes later. That is not how back injuries work.
I was really okay. I cannot explain to you why. I feel like the comments are about he's just a Nolan fan, but I'm like, not necessarily. I haven't brought up Nolan much this episode. I just think that I was okay with it. Because in the comics, if you read the comic books, Batman has done some ridiculous things that they never explain. It's just, I don't know. I bought into it. But like I said, the movie does have its issues. I forgot what I was going to say. I had put on my notes. Let me see. Let me look at my notes real quick. Let's see.
I've got here the... can we talk about the Occupy Wall Street theme that they put in? Of the whole 1% and the 99% and all that?
Oh, yeah,
Bane's
sure.
like, they've held you down with myths of opportunity. Now we give it back to you, the people.
Gotham is yours.
Do as you please.
Do as you please.
Oh, by the way, there's a bomb over there, but never mind that. Yeah. I'm a good guy, see?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of dated it a lot. And
I don't know.
I think they were maybe trying to do a commentary because that was around the time of the whole Occupy Wall Street thing.
But I had no idea that was a thing when I was watching the movie. So.
Yeah, it was at the time. But, man, it was kind of like... It was weird, though, as well, because it's kind of like Bane was playing off the whole thing of the rich are holding everyone else down, but then Bane's the bad guy. So I remember when I was watching it, I'm like, so you're trying to say that Occupy Wall Street and all that is run by criminals? But, I was like, what? So, yeah, I just didn't appreciate that whole thing, Don't try to put in a theme if you can't explore it properly. Or, it's just weird.
Okay.
Batman is the 1% when you think about it, really.
Yeah, do you have any more? Because I was going to go to some of the listener questions that were Dark Knight related.
Yeah, well, I just got a couple of little things like I like the bit where when Batman gets out of his car and all the cameras go off and he presses the little thing and shuts all the cameras down.
That's a little
his
EMP.
device. That was good.
Which is what they should have at Comic-Con, by the way. Just do that at Comic-Con. I've been saying that for a while. I'm like, just get what Batman did in Dark Knight and just,
that'd be great.
EMP those
Shoots
cameras.
This little EMP and just shuts everything.
Yeah,
down.
like a little signal that only emits in that venue so that you don't, shut down the whole building. People are like, well, but what about the projectors? I'm like, well, just keep the projectors for a little bit, keep them out of reach or whatever. Have it so that they have something that can block the signal. Look, we have drones. This should not be that difficult. I'm just saying.
I like how crafty Catwoman was. Like that whole scene where she goes in to sell Bruce Wayne's fingerprints, and Weasley guy number 2 is going to shoot her, and he's like, no one's going to miss you, and she's like, well, people will miss my dad over there, and like he's on the TV, the missing senator, and he's like, yeah, well, they're not going to be looking here, and she's like, well, you did just use his phone.
And I know,
I love all that, the way she
when I watched it, I'm like, that's only 4 fingerprints, and then they say, I'm like, oh, that's right, it is only 4 fingerprints. Like, there are things
like,
where
you don't count too good, do you? She goes,
no, that's only. I'm like, they're clearly missing a thumb. But I liked.
And then when the cops bust in, she's like, I'm a hysterical woman.
That scene
that was
to
fantastic.
Me
that is so Catwoman.
That scene to me I can never look at that scene the same way, because that is the scene where the shooter came in that day in Colorado where that movie shooting happened, and all those people died during Dark Knight Rises. It was during that scene. Like, right when that scene started, he walked in and started doing the bad things. So now whenever I watch that scene, I'm just like, oh, man.
Oh, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, yeah, and sorry to ruin that scene for you. No, but it's
I actually, before that whole Joker shooting in America, there was actually a YouTube video going around that was getting a lot of views and was almost becoming viral. But it was a parody of the Joker scene from The Dark Knight, where he's like, are you the real Batman? Then why do you dress up like him? He was doing that, but it's a guy who's got a dude as prisoner, and he's like, so are you going to see midnight release of Dark Knight Rises? no, I was going to see it on the weekend. He's like, I don't have to see it on midnight, do I? Yeah, you do. You really do.
Yeah, which is a funny
Which was
video.
hilarious, but then when the
But,
actual Joker guy did go in
yeah.
and shoot everyone, that video kind of disappeared.
Babies died. That was
which
not
is
a
a
fun
shame,
either.
because that video was very funny and clever.
I honestly think that shooting cost that movie about $20 million in terms of an opening weekend. Like, I honestly, that movie, because I know people that didn't go to the movies for at least a month after that happened. And they're like, I'm like, because I'm scared. I'm like, well, then the guy wins. Then the guy proves his point. So maybe you should just go watch the movie instead, because you can get shot anywhere. It's called home invasions. You can get shot at the gas station. You can get shot at school. You can get shot anywhere. Anyways, that's not good. I don't want to get too political. Do you have any more thoughts?
Oh yeah, I got loads. Let me scroll through. Okay, the whole thing of the period where Gotham is kind of sealed off and is like its own failed state.
You mean where you can shave off at least like 20 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of a nod to a series in the Batman comics called No Man's Land.
Man's Land, yeah.
Which is where I think it was a series of earthquakes kind of wrecked the city, and the government at the time just kind of sealed it off and said, we can't afford to fix it, it's just no man's land. But so all the different gangs kind of took over a section of the city, and you see the Robin guy in Dark Knight Rises, he's drawing the bat symbol on the wall, because each sort of gang would do that. They graffiti on the walls their turf. So it was like Batman little by little trying to take back the city, and the Gotham PD would have their section of the city. So I think that was
that's very similar to Arkham City, isn't it? Like the
I haven't played it.
You haven't played Arkham City?
No.
The Batman games? Well, without giving too much away, that's pretty much how that area is set up. And where different villains, like you'll have the museum will be owned by Mr. Freeze, and you can tell it's always really cold over there. Joker will have the amusement park / the mills. Just never mind. Sidetrack. Never mind.
But I think but following on from that, I think something that's missing in that end fight at the end, where it's all the cops versus all the Bane's henchmen and all that, you needed to have regular Gothamites join the cops. Maybe they're wearing bandanas with the bat symbol, who were like, no, we want to take back our city too. Because that's what Dark Knight Returns is about.
I was going to say, it's very Dark Knight Returns, yeah.
Yeah, because the nuke wipes out all the city, and it's about how Batman sort of galvanizes the population to save their city.
It's a great scene on that horse.
Chaos.
Yeah.
So I think
he pulls out the gun. He gets a gun now. These are weak and clumsy. Use your fist. He's like
he gets the Sons of Batman to sort of help him out. We should have seen the Sons of Batman following on from the little chalk thing on the wall. People inspired by Batman are like, no, we're going to fight back against Bane and take back our city.
But we have to do Talia al Ghul. We need to do Talia al Ghul. And clean energy.
But it just made it that it was just the cops versus Bane and all that. And I'm like, where's the people? Batman's supposed to inspire good in regular people. But whatever.
That being said, I loved.
It's all right. Keep them coming.
When they're on the ice, when Gordon's on the ice, and you see a little flare, light it up, and I was just like, yeah, and he ignites the flare, and he throws it on the ground, and it's and it's a bat symbol on the bridge in flames. I lose my mind every time I see that. I love. Do you hate that? I loved it. I loved that. So I don't know if you don't like it.
It didn't bother me at the time.
Does it bother you now?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Oh. What's your problem with this, Bandit?
No, it doesn't really
symbolism.
Bother me.
It's symbolism. I think there's some great jokes. There's this one channel called Minute Minecraft Parodies where they do basically what Nostalgia Critic did, where instead of 5 seconds, it's going over the movie in 1 minute in kind of a Minecraft form. And it cuts to Batman, and he's just like, Miss Kyle, I need your help. And then it cuts to them painting the bridge. He's just like, breading is important. And underneath the bat symbol, you see Apple and Nike and all these. It's breading is important. But I think that's a really powerful scene. I love Bane's reaction, impossible. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Batman in this, he really needs to work on his comebacks, because Bane's got some good ones. So you came back to die with your city. And what did Batman say?
No, I came back to stop you.
I came back to That's so lame, Batman.
Yeah,
try a little bit.
It really
harder.
is. It's pretty weak.
It could have been something like Bane is like, I thought you were dead, and it could be something like, didn't Ra's al Ghul tell you? You know, if you make yourself more than a man, they can't stop you, or something like that. You know, like a bit of that V for Vendetta. Ideas are bulletproof.
Oh, I love that line. This is an idea, and ideals are bulletproof. I love that. That was great. That's a good movie.
There's the Scarecrow with the weird People's Court.
Yes.
I got the feeling if Heath Ledger had not died, it was going to be Joker running that weird, wacky courtroom.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been a nice little...
I don't know. I think, he might have overshadowed.
Absolutely.
His presence would have overtaken.
I think he would have had a much larger presence in the movie Joker. Because I think what they did with Joker... Because, I feel like it just kind of played out the way to where no one was able to tell really 3 completely kind of separate stories in which each movie has its own distinct feel to it. But I think that if Ledger hadn't died, we would have seen Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises feel very similar to one another. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's true because just putting Joker in there would take so much of the emphasis away from Bane and all the rest of it. But because I thought about it and I was like, because if Heath Ledger was there sitting on that weird mountain of desks of paper and stuff like Scarecrow was, he'd have a great time. But everyone would be like, why isn't he running the city now? So I thought, the way they could get around that would maybe they make it that Joker is still in his cell, but they're wired up like a video communication, so it's just the TV screen, like they did in The Dark Knight with Lau. So that way he can still be there and sort of do his thing, but he's not conquering the whole room, because he's not physically there. Like something. I
still really like. It sounds narcissistic, but I still really like my idea of like Bane walking over to his cell or whatever, and there being like, what about this one? And Bane's like, not this one, not yet. He's like, no,
that'd be good. Or just be like, let's keep the clown in the box.
Keep the clown in the box, and then like they walk away, and like see his face, and he starts laughing. Bane's just like, you know what? Well, we will deal with that later, not now.
He's like, I have a carefully laid plan. He doesn't like plans.
He's not a man with a plan.
He will ruin everything. He will figure out all our pointless twists.
Like he walks out and he's just like, oh, hello, Talia. He's like, what?
Hi, Talia. You're the protector, Bane. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I've seen that movie. Okay. Do you keep going? Your thoughts?
I'm just scrolling through. I think that's pretty much everything.
No more crapping on the movie.
What else?
No more exposing all its flaws.
First time I saw it, I didn't think Batman was actually crippled. I thought he was like faking it for some reason. But even at the point where he goes to the doctor and the doctor puts up the X-rays, I thought he had switched the X-rays for something else. But so it was really late in the movie that I realized I was like, oh, no, he actually is injured.
I think I don't know. I liked the injured Batman because I think it shows that this whole movie is really just him just being beaten down and life just like kicking him in the nuts at every turn to the point of where you feel again so satisfied when he finally gets to have a happy ending. He finally gets to just go home and like he just needs a nap. Batman just needs a nap at this point because he's been through, and like I know a lot of people's complaints were that he's wondering, why they quit when he was only doing Batmaning stuff for a couple of years at best. And to which I will say, true.
Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking about was, it's funny because, the League of Shadows are like, Gotham is a city of corruption. It must be destroyed. And in Dark Knight Rises, it's like, no, it's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually,
doesn't really need to be destroyed at all.
It is peacetime, which is
but I guess the League of Shadows is slow to update. Once they decide you're going to be destroyed, you're going to be destroyed. It doesn't matter.
I think one of the reasons that if they would have followed up Batman Begins with Dark Knight Rises, I think it would have been better received. Which is a weird thing. I mean, it couldn't have been the same movie in its entirety, like with the whole conclusion thing. But I think in terms of how it was written, because Dark Knight is such a tightly written script with, I mean, it has some minor quibbles about it that like kind of ruin the movie if you think too much about it, which is a weird thing to say, but like for the most part, it's so smart, it's so tightly written, everything about it is just, it's done really well.
Yeah.
And then you get Dark Knight Rises, which feels, I think, a lot more like Batman Begins, and where it just all kind of, and where I feel it falls apart most is the third act. Most people have a problem with it from the get-go. I think it just falls apart.
It's basically like a really badly written version of Batman Begins with way too much stuff shoved in that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I think Nolan though, because he did Inception in between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he was probably kind of over it at that point. They all seem like they were just kind of wanted to get it done.
Which sucks because this really... I walked out of Dark Knight Rises going, that was great. I really enjoyed that. I was 12 years old, but that being, you know, it was, I still really enjoyed the movie, you know, and going back and watching it, I think it was Sunday and I watched it yesterday, you know, and I noticed all its problems. I said, yeah, the movie still has problems. Yeah, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is weird. This is weird. What's up with that? But I was just like, I don't care. Everything that's working is working really well for me. It's not like Force Awakens where I don't see a lot of the problems that people are seeing. I see the problems and they're there and they're clearly evident.
Yeah, yeah.
But that doesn't really matter to me. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, like and like we're saying, it's definitely not a terrible movie. I mean, sure, it's got problems, but it's not terrible. But if you're going to rank like all of Nolan's movies, I'd probably put this as his lowest.
And from the ones that I've seen, I will also put it at its lowest.
Yeah.
I will put it. I will put it there with, which is weird because when I think back, I'm like, I love Dark Knight, love Batman Begins, love Inception, love The Prestige, love Interstellar, and I'm like, yeah, I like Batman, and I like Dark Knight Rises. It's like, it's weird. Yeah. It's weird because
it's like Hateful Eight with Quentin Tarantino. They're like, it's not Quentin Tarantino's best film, but it's still good.
It's still good, which is awesome. It's like a 7 out of 10 is Nolan's worst movie. That's just what I give it. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. Which it's not a bad thing. And people are gonna look at us like we're hating on the movie, in which certain aspects we are because we are disappointed with it. Yeah. At least I am now after looking at it.
I think enough time has passed that people won't get too upset by us nitpicking.
Yeah, it's not even like Prometheus, where I can say Prometheus, like you said, it's a great horror film, which makes sense. Everyone makes stupid decisions, but Dark Knight Rises, it clearly has problems. It's clearly a very flawed superhero movie. But look, we've gotten so many bad Batman movies. So now whenever someone calls this movie a bad movie, I'm like, no, we've gotten bad Batman movies. We've gotten like 3 or 4 bad Batman movies. Okay. Yeah.
So should we move on to the, because we got listener questions, but for those questions related to Dark Knight Rises, we'll talk about it here and then we'll switch to the others.
Let's see. Let me see if I can...
Should I start with the poll?
Yeah, you can start with your...
Okay, because on the Movie Mania podcast Twitter account, I put up a poll a couple of days ago where I asked you guys this. I said, question, if the Dark Knight Rises Batman and the Batman Begins Batman were to fight to the death, which one do you think would win? Batman Begins Batman or Dark Knight Rises Batman? Because Batman Begins Batman is younger and stronger and fitter, but Dark Knight Rises Batman has got more experienced. He's got better gadgets like the Bat. He's more crazy. He'd be more likely to kill someone.
Well, I think Begins. Just because, like, if you got Begins Bruce Wayne and Rises Bruce Wayne in, like, put him on a football field, and have him fight to the death.
Yeah.
Begins would take him down, because Dark Knight Bruce Wayne and Begins Bruce Wayne are very close together to where, you know, like Rises Bruce Wayne will like be ready to get in, like Begins will just like elbow him in the mouth and then like throw his face in the ground and like do what he did to that guy in the hallway in the Dark Knight. Like, and if you look at, like, he's built in Begins, like he's fit in Rises, but Begins is just like, he's just a monster of a man. And even though the bat suit is not as good in Begins as it is in Rises, I still think that, you know, the experience doesn't mean it much, considering the fact that it took him 2 fights to realize he could just punch Bane in the mouth.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
And I agree, because also, like, I mean, you'd be saying, oh, Dark Knight Rises, oh, but he's got more experience. And I'm like, well, he's older, but he's actually not wiser, because
No. He's cocky. He's really cocky.
And he walks into that trap with Bane. Batman Begins Batman would not have fallen for that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he would have fallen for that. So, yeah, I'd go with Batman Begins. But on the poll here, the results were I had Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, and then I put Michael Caine as a joke. And, of course, everyone voted Michael Caine. 41% Michael Caine. But between the two Batmans, 31% said Dark Knight Rises, and 28% says Batman Begins.
What?
I guess they figured just he has the bat, so he could just fly in and shoot him, because the bat does take out a couple of military tumblers.
Yeah, it does take it down pretty quickly. I was
in that regard, yeah, he'd probably win. But if it was just hand-to-hand fighting in a football field,
Rise's Batman can make it to the bat, then yes, he could win. But I feel like Begins
otherwise
Batman,
he's so dead.
would Bat Club rises his foot and then like start dragging him away, and then like drop the Bat Claw off the building and be like, "I will kill you." But gravity will, and then like just have it fall off the building.
That's what one of the people said on the Twitter thing. It was like he said, "Well, Batman Begins Batman could put the other Batman in a dangerous situation and then say he doesn't have to save him."
Oh yeah, I retweeted that. I retweeted that.
Mr. Sunday Movies. He said, "Oh man, probably Rises brackets, but after he gets out of the pit because he wanted it more."
I don't think Mason has a big problem with that pit, but I honestly have no problems. I think that's a great.
I got plenty of problems with it.
This
prison is the worst hell on earth. Really, everyone seems quite friendly and supportive to me.
Everyone seems pretty
Everyone's
chill.
chanting like the dasada dasada Bessie Bessie.
I'd rather be here than Shawshank. I don't know about you.
Yeah, seems pretty good place to live.
Yeah, get some decent food from the looks of it. Now some nice crackers, water.
Yeah, you got a doctor there who's
yeah, have a nice sunroof.
Just as long as you're not a pregnant woman, the place seems pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Do you have any more Twitter things you'd like to mention?
No, just that one. So
okay,
everyone voted Dark Knight Rises Batman, but yeah, I would put my money on Batman Begins.
Okay. Well, on Facebook, Shazeb Ali, he said, "Do you think that Rises was genuinely bad, or any movie after Dark Knight couldn't measure up to its predecessor?"
Well, I mean, certainly, yeah. How are you going to measure up to the Dark Knight? But it certainly could have been better.
I think
I'm going to say it's bad. Yeah.
I think at first the whole expectation thing. The whole expectant, because like if you look at, I don't mean to bring up Force Awakens again, but let's bring up Force Awakens again.
It's all right, go for it.
Okay, so everyone expected The Force Awakens to be one of the best movies of all time. I didn't, but everyone else did. I had to tell myself I had to walk and be like, okay, just make a good movie. Just make a good movie. It doesn't have to be great, just be a good movie. But everyone else is expecting it to be the best movie of all time. So when it's not, people are disappointed. People are like, no, it wasn't amazing. I was disappointed because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But what was actually there, and I feel like I hit my mic. I'm sorry. I feel like the backlash has definitely died down. Thank the Christ. It's that the pendulum has kind of swung and kind of stopped in the middle of. Yeah, I like it. It has problems, but I really enjoy it. Yeah. It's not like Dark Knight Rises where literally everyone tore it apart from day one to now. Like even now, almost 4 years later, people still are tearing this thing to shreds.
Yeah.
With Force Awakens,
I think that's because Dark Knight Rises, it makes itself more complicated than it needs to be. Like Force Awakens is like, I mean, it's not a simplistic plot, but it's a simple plot. And that's what it should be.
It's a very familiar plot.
Yeah. But Dark Knight Rises is way more complicated than it needed to be. And that leaves lots of loose ends and lots of stuff for people to nitpick. There's less stuff to nitpick, I'd say, in Force Awakens because it's more streamlined.
Well, and I just feel like I think it's a much better made movie. Force Awakens is than Rises. Yeah. When the whole sorry.
No, it's all right. You go.
Well, it's just like when the whole expectation thing finally dies down, and when you look at what the movie actually is, Rises was not as good, as Force Awakens is, and I think there's a correlation there. I may be wrong, but what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I think overall, with Force Awakens, most people it was good, or they'll mention the Death Star or whatever. But I think most people are okay with giving like Force Awakens a pass. But next movie they won't give a pass. I do feel a bit sorry.
I'm not. No, if I swear to God, if Episode 8 opens up on a snow planet, I'm done. I'm going to be very upset. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. You had.
I feel bad for Rian Johnson though, because like he's now burdened with having to clean up J.J. Abrams' mess. See, J.J. Abrams is gone, so he doesn't have to worry about dealing with the consequences of the whole Mary Sue thing specifically.
He has to deal with people wanting something new. He has to be the guy that gives us something new in the Star Wars universe again.
Yeah.
Because the last time we got something new was the Phantom Menace. So he has to be the one that says, here's something new and let's like it. Because JJ said, all right, you guys didn't like the new stuff, here's the old stuff there. It's shot really well, good actors. Mary Sue character, who gives a crap? There, good movie. There, go get it. Now Rian Johnson has to be the guy that's just like, brand new movie, here, come get it. Whatever.
Well, they need to reveal who Rey's parents were, who she is. They need to set up this wider universe of exactly what is going on, like between the Resistance and the Republic and the First Order. What exactly is the dynamic there? They need to set all that up.
I don't think they need to set the government stuff. I think they
do. I think that's really important.
I think they pretty much wiped out the Republic in Force Awakens, so I don't see why not just...
Okay, well that's bad writing then. Because, well, they said there's the Republic and the Resistance, so it's like, is the Resistance just people inside First Order territory?
I feel like the Republic was just Alderaan. Well, the Republic was just the Alderaan of this movie. Like, we need something to blow up to make the bad guys seem more evil.
See, the impression I got is Resistance is people inside First Order territory who
your impression is wrong.
Resistance.
Sorry.
But now that they've shot the Republic, it'll be all-out war again. It'll be a Star War. So if they just don't even pay attention to that, then no, they've ruined it. You need to know who the good guys and who the bad guys are.
I think we know who the good guys are and the bad guys are.
No, we don't. We just know there's some group called the Resistance who has some vague connection to Republic. Are they the same? I don't know. Nobody really knows. We need to know. We need to know space politics.
I'm done with space politics.
I want more space politics. I want to know what's happening.
I'm 110% done with space politics.
I want to know why Luke ran away and hid instead of killing Kylo Ren.
That's not space politics. That's character motivation. That's not space politics. Space politics is why the Republic stopped backing the Resistance. I don't care. You can read about it in a book. It's really don't care. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think
you can't give that a pass forever. That's important. It's a war between two sides. You need to know what the war is and why.
I don't think that at all furthers the story of Rey or Finn or Poe. Maybe Leia, but who gives a crap about Leia?
No, but it's setting up the universe. If you don't know who your enemy is and you don't know why, you don't care.
I care more about the Knights of Ren than I do the bloody First Order. The First Order is just a backup. It's just the backup singers to Snoke and Kylo Ren. That's who we need to know.
You don't know. Are they what's left of the Empire? Are they something completely different? Did they grow out of the Empire? We don't know.
That's not space politics. That's universe building. What you're talking about?
Universe building. That's what we need. We need universe building. They didn't do any in Force Awakens.
You want to know why the Resistance stopped backing why the Republic stopped backing the Resistance, which we know from expanding universe stuff, which involves Leia and the Resistance not believing that the First Order was a threat, and which is why Leia, but that stuff got cut out of the movie for time. Because you don't want space politics.
It got cut out, but now we need it in the next one because we need to know what this universe actually is.
And they cut it out in this movie
because it's Star Wars. You need to know who the sides are in a war.
You don't need, but there's no politics in these movies. There's no politics in war. Okay, it's action. It's adventure.
Actually,
we don't need to know. We don't need to know the Look, I'm saying in this universe, there's a reason the politics was the worst thing about the prequels. The last thing we need now is more politics be brought back into the movie. Rian Johnson works well with characters, and works well with action, and works well with suspense, and works well with camera shots. We don't know if he works well with politics.
Imagine Lord of the Rings, but they don't explain that they're trying to put the ring in the volcano. And it's like, why is everyone fighting? What's happening?
That's worse than the cake
That's basically
analogy.
What this is.
No,
there's a war going in, but we don't even know why. We don't even really understand what's happening here. They need to just explain what this universe is. Anyway, let's move on.
First of all, that's one of the worst analogies you've ever created. I'm just going to.
Well, that's basically what Force Awakens is. There's a war. We don't understand why. We don't understand the sides. We don't understand what they want. We don't understand what the goals are. We don't know. We just know there's fighting.
But that's not what the ring is. The ring was the end. The ring was what they were trying to do.
The ring is what the conflict in that universe is about.
But what they were trying to do in the Force Awakens was blow up Starkiller Base. What they were trying to do in Lord of the Rings is destroy the One Ring. Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. They didn't even know about it till the end.
But I'm talking about as a movie. The third act of the movie is trying to destroy Starkiller Base. The third act of the trilogy of Lord of the Rings is to bring the ring to Mount Doom. That's the goal.
See, the very fact that we're arguing about it proves that they didn't make it clear in the movie. That's why they need to make it clear in the next one.
It isn't. All right, Bandit, tell me what you think. Just give me one more thought about what you think about this. What do you think? Just give me one more.
About what? Force Awakens or Dark Knight Rises?
Just can you explain to me in one sentence what it is?
I just want to explain.
It doesn't matter what you think
in this universe. It's Star Wars. Just let me know what the war is about. That's all I want to know.
Not star politics.
Yeah, just one scene. That's all I want.
No. I'm calling it now.
See, like in A New Hope, it was basically you're out on a frontier, and that's fine. You're like, it's like a Western in space. That's fine. But by the time we got to like the end of Return of the Jedi, we have the view of this bigger cinematic universe here. So trying to go right back down to the frontier where you don't know what's happening, it doesn't work for Episode 7 because we already know the bigger universe. I need to know what's going on in the bigger universe aside from, Rathtar's in Han Solo's ship. Outside of that, I don't know what's going on.
I will give you that.
Let's move on.
I was gonna convey you a point, but okay, this debate is over. I was going to say that I will agree that I would like to know what exactly the First Order is and what the Knights of Ren are, but I feel like that's what we are going to know. I don't need space politics though, but if you want to get that's how you look at the movie, which is your opinion.
Do they want to conquer the Republic territory, or do they just want to take out the Resistance? What do they want? I don't know.
I don't really care.
I have no idea.
I care about the characters. I don't really care about the universe.
Well, in the original trilogy, it's pretty simple. There's the Empire wants to rule everything. Simple. You understand it.
And in this, it's the Resistance and the First Order because the Republic gets taken.
The Republic, and there's probably other pockets out there that broke apart from the Empire. What's the deal with all them? We don't know.
The Republic gets taken out quickly because it's the Alderaan. That's what.
Yeah, the main planet, but surely there's other planets out there. Right?
No. Not they took out the whole system of the Republic. They took out 5 or 6 planets.
If the Republic has replaced the Empire, there's thousands of worlds, right?
No, I mean it's like just because. It's like if they came in and nuked Washington D.C. here in America. I mean, there's still technically a government, but that whole area is now gone. You've wiped out the central command of what is essentially the U.S. government.
Yeah, but surely they haven't wiped out the whole Republic then, right? They'd have to.
Well, I'd say they wiped out a good chunk of
hundreds and hundreds of planets all across the universe to do that, wouldn't they?
Now we're getting into hypotheticals. Okay,
anyway, whatever. See, that's. I just want them to explain some of that stuff. It's one scene. That's all I'm asking.
I just don't want anyone sitting in Senate meetings. I'm nervous. Bandit, I'm scared, man.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to actually know what the. I'm
not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad that you're kind of right. Okay, all right, all right. There. Okay.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
For you guys that don't know, every week on our Facebook page, we will post a thing where we says listener question time in which you ask our listener. We will ask listener questions, and if they're good enough, we will answer them on the show and give you a little shout out. So, are you on Facebook right now? Do you want to go to any of these questions?
Yep. You want to pick one? I'll have a look.
Okay. This is actually a really cool one that you always get a lot of crap for, but Starheart Fallen Star, wonderful name. He says, what? Let's see. What are you afraid Batman would do in Batman v Superman? The things you believe Batman would never do, but worry that Zack Snyder might put it in his version. Kill. Well, that's one.
Yeah, well, he's already done that plenty of times.
Yeah, but I mean,
I've already brought up I have a problem with him branding people.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I guess I'm okay with I made fun of his whole logic of why he's going after Superman. If there's even a 1% chance he's evil, we have to take him down. But that's okay because that's, like we said last week. I think that's what Alfred is saying to him, that doesn't make sense. And he's
like, you're not you're being irrational. But I understand when he's like. I think he's clearly lost a lot of people in Metropolis that day.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to explore that, like, and how kind of war can harden somebody into a certain way, like a certain way of thinking.
And I'm sure Lex is like stirring the pot too. So.
Yeah, which is why I think they should really just focus more on that, and not just for some reason bring in Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Doomsday, Cyborg cameo. Okay, I'm like I said, even though he's killed before in the movies, mainly I guess the main villains, but I'm worried that they're just gonna say screw it, Batman kills people, because even though it's clearly not an actual gun, we see him have actual guns in the trailer. Well, it looks like an actual gun in the trailer. We see him fire a grenade at Superman, so we see him try to hit Superman with the Batmobile.
Yeah.
So it's like, which are all really cool looking shots, but it's like that's not something I feel like the character would do. I feel like I don't know. I have this worry that Zack Snyder is going to be like, screw it, Batman kills now, which is going to really bug me if he does, because that's not.
Well, we know for a fact he does, because in the trailer we see the Batplane blowing up a bunch of cars and there's people in them.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I thought you were going to bring up the Sandstorm again. I'm like, don't you bring that up again?
That's probably a dream. Yeah.
Plus, he's able to snap necks and not kill people in the comics. But yeah, I don't know. I'm worried he might get him to kill people, which I'm not a fan of. Okay, do you have one?
Yep. I haven't thought of an answer yet, but Henry Banning says, "What two movie characters would you like to see in a fight to the death?" So I haven't. I'm still thinking like, what would be the best
wonderful one? Okay, bear with me on this. Give me Rey post Force Awakens.
Yep.
Versus Darth Maul.
Okay.
Yeah. And to be fair, we'll go. I won't go Clone Wars Darth Maul where he has robotic legs and like climbs up walls and fights like Sidious. We'll go like Phantom Menace Darth Maul.
Okay.
That's the first thing that popped in my head. I'm like, well, my lightsaber fight.
He was really cool, Darth Maul. They so should have kept him around,
I think that might still be my favorite lightsaber fight. Besides maybe
it's great. I don't care if it's everyone's like, oh, the choreography is too much. I don't care. It looks great.
So
it looks great.
People are like. It's not just because they're twirling. It's because, and I said this before, it looks like Darth Maul really is toying with Obi-Wan, and like I feel like he clearly knows he's going to win this fight, which is why he's doing all this weird twirls. And he's kind of like he's dodging things, and I don't know, he seems cocky in his fighting, and he wins for the most part. But yeah, those are my two characters.
All right, I think I'd like to see Superman fight the Hulk.
Oh yes,
I'd really like to see that.
No, I want to see Wolverine fight the Hulk. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been telling my cousin, I'm like, when is Wolverine going to fight the Hulk? That's the only reason I want to see Fox join with Marvel, is so that we can get a scene where Wolverine... Actually, I'm changing my answer. And this is a Weekly Planet reference. I want to see J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson in a sparring match with Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. It's an older reference to Weekly Planet.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
The video they made on that is so funny. So I really want to see that now. It's like a series of scuffles. So it's those guys on a basketball court just like slapping each other around. No, but in all seriousness, it's Wolverine versus the Hulk, because like have a scene where like Hulk's like shouting and Wolverine just goes shing. I go, I'd probably clap. I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, yes. They did a movie called Hulk versus. I think he fought Wolverine in one of the animated films, and it was a great fight. He's tossing Wolverine out in the forest and whatnot.
Yeah, that's
Hulk's
fantastic,
just like laying into him. Yeah, I think you used that in your Ultron fight as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I did.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey, it's Hulk versus. Yeah. But those are my two characters. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Who would win in a fight between Jack Nicholson Joker and Christian Bale Batman from Spike Litherland?
Oh, Christian Bale Batman.
You think so?
Oh yeah, easy.
Wouldn't hit a guy with glasses.
That would not work with Christian Bale.
Where are they? Where are the glasses?
Didn't work with Michael Keaton. Certainly wouldn't work with Christian Bale. Mind you, Christian Bale Batman
kills people.
Even though he does kill people, but so does the Michael Keaton Batman. But at least Christian Bale kind of tries not to.
Yeah. I mean, to be
Michael
fair,
Keaton just immediately is like, "I'm going to punch you right over right over the edge of this building."
I think.
So I guess he'd stand more of a chance against Christian Bale. Yeah.
Well, I think, this it's the Jack Nicholson Joker that has the acid flower. Yeah. Just get the acid flower, spray that in Batman's face, because this Batman's not very smart. So like Christian Bale's Batman's not very smart. So like once he gets the acid in his face, he'll be freaking out, Alfred, and then Jack Nicholson just gets a pipe to the back of Christian Bale's head. And
actually, you know what might be a good matchup? What about Michael Keaton's Batman against Heath Ledger's Joker?
Now we're talking.
That'd be.
Now we're talking. Just two crazy maniacs,
two murderous psychopaths. Just
talk about let's get nuts. Like I mean, just
yeah.
But
this would actually be the other way around because Joker wouldn't want to kill Batman.
No,
but Batman would want to kill Joker.
Oh yeah, but Batman would be all about he would just be trying to find billions to throw Joker off. Just trying to find gargoyles to tape to Batclaw him to. Yeah.
I think Heath Ledger would actually take him.
You
I
think
he'd outsmart him. He'd mess with his
head.
Well,
is that suit bulletproof or knife proof, like stab proof?
I think it is. Yeah, I remember.
I was gonna say this, because Joker's a dirty fighter, so have some pocket sand handy, and just a knife. I love pocket sand so much. Like after watching Indiana Jones, whenever the guy's coming, like the propeller's going towards the guy's back of the head, and where he grabs some sand and throws it in the guy's face. From now on, I always want to carry on pocket sand because I get into a fight. Like one guy's like, "What are you gonna do now?" I'm just like, "Pocket sand," and throw a bunch of sand in his face. Oh, I love pocket sand. Anyways. Sorry.
Actually, I think here's the other question. It says, if there was one character you would beat the sight out of, I think he meant a different word instead of sight. If there was one character you would beat the sight out of, who would it be? There's a lot of fight type questions here. Well, we'd all beat up Joffrey. We all know that.
I was about to say Joffrey. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I feel like if Tyrion Lannister can beat up Joffrey, then it's not worth it. I would just send Tyrion to go do it. Now,
yeah, he's just
I don't want to sound mean when I say this. I don't want people to think that I hit women, but honestly, I would pardon my friendship, but I would beat the piss out of Lori from The Walking Dead.
Which one is she?
She was Rick's wife.
I hated her.
I would literally beat the pulp out of her.
She was such
which sounds bad in context, but it's an equality. Get over it. I would. I don't like I said. I don't like getting political on the show, but man, she was literally the worst. It's like I can't. I think Joffrey's bad. I think Cersei's bad. But when I think of a TV character who I just sat there waiting to die. And die. Oh, she flipped a car with an empty road. And die. Oh, she lost Carl for the third time this episode. And die. And die. And then she found she died. And she's gone. Now she's haunting the episode with her ghost. Wonderful. Oh my god. Why'd you bring her up again? Oh my god, she's the worst. I would beat the piss out of Lori from The Walking Dead. I don't know why. I probably get so much satisfaction just
I would like to beat up Brad Pitt in World War Z.
Really?
Just that character in that. Just because he wasn't even acting. I would just like to get in there and just punch that guy. Be like, here, have an emotion now. Just slapping him. Have an emotion. Huh?
I really like World War Z.
No, you
Sorry.
didn't.
Huh? No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. There's no way you could like that movie.
I mean, it was stupid, yeah, but I mean, it was it's just a fun movie. I thought I had a really nice time.
Again, that's another one where honest trailers got it well. Said it really well. Where they're like, in a world where zombie movies are everywhere, here is another one. But
except
this one has Brad Pitt.
It's like in a world where zombie TV is a thing, and zombie movies are a thing, and zombie games are a thing. See another generic zombie movie, but this one, it's got Brad Pitt, which is pretty much what the movie is. But I think I think a lot of the action's done pretty well. I liked how they decided to stop the zombies. I really liked the ending of the movie. I just thought it was a nice. I walked in thinking it was going to be crap, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, everyone thought it was going to be awful. We were genuinely surprised when it wasn't.
I just thought I was going to be bored. I thought it was gonna be like another 28 Days Later where I'm just bored.
I love that honest trailer though. Follow along with Brad Pitt and the film screenwriters in search of the plot.
Did I just expose a?
He's just your ordinary, everyday, super attractive, scarf wearing, Spanish speaking, airplane piloting. He can just do
Talk
everything.
about a Gary Stu, my son. I think I might have just exposed a movie I don't like, but I won't repeat myself. If you listeners will catch it, but hopefully they don't say anything. It's a very beloved old movie that I'm not a fan of. I think it's boring.
Well, Batman's a Gary Stu in Dark Knight Rises because he wins all the time. Oh,
no, he doesn't.
He almost never wins. Even when he does beat Bane, he still loses.
Even when he has to cheat, he cheats to win. Okay, I have one from.
It's like he's just about to beat. Like he's just beaten Bane, and then boom, knife right in the ribs. Catwoman has to save him at the last second.
Yeah,
man, he was terrible Batman when you think about it. He was.
I think that was the story arc. I think that was the story arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the end of it, he's like, "Yeah, I should retire."
To quickly answer Ryan Williamson's question, I don't like Gotham, and I don't think it should tie into Ben Affleck's Batman, and it won't. I didn't really want to.
Is that still going? I thought.
Yeah, I mean they're bringing on Mr. Freeze. They're bringing.
Why is that still going? I don't know.
Because people are watching it. I don't know. It's like the Lost of TV. It's like season 5. Oh, it's really still there. All right. Let's see. You and David ask, would you rather see Fantastic Four in an X-Men film, teaming up, or in another solo film? I'd rather see them in the Avengers.
Yeah. I'd rather see them in an X-Men film.
You think so?
But ideally, I'd like to see them in the Deadpool 2, so we can make fun of them.
Oh my God. or like he's just holding it like his girlfriend's holding a poster and she's like, "What's this?" And it's like, "Oh, that's a mistake." And they lay down into the Fantastic poster. "What's that?" "A mistake." I don't think Fox would ever let him do that. Let him do that though. I think they want to bury that film is so far underneath just everything. I think they're so happy that Deadpool became a big success because now they have people are gonna be like, what fantastic? What are you talking about? I know what you're talking about.
You know what Deadpool could do? They could parody that bit at the end where maybe Cable is like, we're fantastic and there's 4 of us, and Deadpool could just slap him and be like, "Don't you do it? Don't you do it?"
He's like, we're pretty, we are part of the X-Men and we're pretty forceful. And Deadpool's like, "I wish you would." Deadpool's like, "I wish you would." And he's like, "How about X-Force?" God, and he's just like, "Son of a," he just start dropping F-bombs. "I said not to do it." End credits. Deadpool will be back in the X-Force. He's like, "No, he won't." I quit. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have here. I think we pretty much answered all of them either in previous episodes or during the podcast.
Yep, I think that is. Thank you so much, guys, for all these questions. Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great turnout today, guys, this weekend. Yeah, 18 comments. That was overwhelming to read through.
Yeah.
All of them, and pick up the ones I like the best. Okay, so yeah.
It's interesting, tracking the progress of the show, too. On SoundCloud, I think we're averaging
1,000 an episode.
Yeah, 1,000 or between 1,000 and 2,000 for each episode, depending on what the topic is. But on YouTube,
yeah,
the views on YouTube are going up and up and up, which I did not expect.
Yeah. No,
I figured people would rather listen on iTunes than on a computer. But maybe it's people doing work on their computer and listening.
That's what I imagine.
Yeah, and plus, I think people
I imagine that
it's
your subscribers wanting to see you on a weekly podcast. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's your guys just "Oh, I love Bandit's voice. Why not hear him weekly on a podcast for 2.5 hours?" Yeah. And then this other guy that I don't like.
Traitor. But it's
weeks.
Yeah, but I like it because a bit of ad revenue that comes in from that actually pays for our SoundCloud account, which is good. So there we go.
All right, well, there business behind the scenes. All right, well, thank you guys all for watching. Okay, Bandit, where can people find you?
The people can find me on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter as Bandit Incorporated, and they can find you.
And they can find me on the YouTubes, Twitters, Facebook, all that stuff at either Trey White or Podcast Media, Instagram. Join us next week when we talk Whatever you guys want to talk about. We're going to have a free week. So
we got a spare week. It's ages
yeah.
until something comes out. We're still going to do Man of Steel, but
in a couple of
weeks. That in a couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll put something up on the Facebook and Twitter, and you guys can pick what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, well, exactly. And think of a good topic for us to not for me and Bandit and Trilby to talk about for his first official full spot on the podcast. So make it something. Thank you to Milan Jeftik for the channel art. Thank you guys all for listening, and catch you all later on Movie Maniacs.